Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's broadcast. This broadcast is a product of Shry Media, LLC. Unauthorized use, sale, or redistribution of this media in any form is strictly prohibited without the express written consent of Shry Media. Radio and television mediums are encouraged to reach out. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the game.
We're there to serve, make sure we're creating a fair atmosphere for both teams, upholding the integrity of the game.
I chose to be an official. It's the best decision I've made.
In life, things aren't scripted. Games aren't pre-scripted. You know, I got into officiating because my father was an official. Officiating was part of our family life. It wasn't just the game.
Get to be outside, get to experience the game. It's so much more fun. You can get a lot out of it.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
It helped me become not only a better official, but a better person.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
And it's just been wonderful.
Catch the most thrilling moments from your favorite local teams, only on the Southeast Sports Network. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-winning goals, we bring you all the highlights that make the Southeast the heart of sports. Don't miss out. Tune in anytime, anywhere, and relive the action like never before. The action lives on our YouTube channel, but you can watch highlights many different ways by visiting our website. The Southeast Sports Network, where every play matters.
The Southeast Sports Network, your free ticket to front row sports action. From heart-pounding football showdowns to thrilling basketball games, experience every moment live, all from the comfort of your home. Your favorite athletes, broadcast in real time and on demand. It's not just streaming, it's your front row ticket to the best of Southeastern sports. And the best part? It's absolutely free. Don't miss a moment of your favorite teams. Join us now at the Southeast Sports Network. The Southeast Sports Network, your front row ticket to live sports. Welcome to SESN, your ticket to the front row of the sports world, covering local, regional, and national events. We bring the game to you. Feel the excitement of every play, every score, every victory. Get your seat, get on air, and immerse yourself in the heart-pounding action. The Southeast Sports Network, where sports come to life.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
I got involved in officiating volleyball 8 years after I played Division I in college.
Saying yes to volleyball officiating will give you the privilege to be a part of one of the most exciting sports around.
I'm a speaker,
A builder.
I coach.
Culinary arts. Auditor.
A firefighter.
For anyone contemplating becoming a volleyball official, just go for it.
Take the plunge, open the door.
Say yes to officiating. Learn more about how to get involved at sayyes2officiating.com.
A truck is a tool, but a ram is life. Yeah, it's the wipe the sweat off your brow sort of life. But it's also the let's load up the ATV's life. The my kids play way too many sports life. The let's find a secret spot to fish life. That looks nice. Innovations, comforts, and powertrains built to power all the lives you live. Ram.
Want to watch your favorite Southeast teams in action? We've got you covered. Stream live games and highlights on YouTube, Twitch, Amazon Fire TV, Stream TV, and more. For all the details, visit our How to Watch page at sesnsports.com. It's your one-stop guide to catching every play, every time, wherever you are. The Southeast Sports Network, bringing the game to you anytime, anywhere.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold.
Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay.
Adventurous. Shazam! There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
They have to score here. We're getting underway for it. Walk-off home run.
Here's a shot to the right side.
This is shaping up to be a
strike right side, too.
Hello and welcome to Kingsport, Tennessee, and inside of the Kingsport Aquatic Center. So glad you're along with us for the ride. Really good final day of action already through the prelims, and we're ready to go with the finals tonight. Gabriel Schrei here, Southeast Sports Network, and we've got a full press box for you, or maybe I should say bleachers. We're very excited for this one. There's a great lineup in order. We're going to run through it in just a moment, but just for the moment, we're glad to have you along for the ride for the 2025 finale of the Appalachian Athletic Conference Swimming and Diving Championships from the Kingsport Aquatic Center. So we're starting with the long races. We talked about them before our break. During prelims, we did a final time for 4 competitors. These 2 long 1650s to get us started. Does that build nerves for the rest of the competitors who are waiting?
Yes, I mean, I would say that, sitting and waiting and keeping warm until these 1650s are done can definitely kind of mess with the other swimmers waiting on these 2 races to get finished. They're excited, they're ready to go, they're ready to swim, but they have to wait until we get 2 1650 races done with, which again, they just got to stay warm and stay energized and just wait it out.
Unlike last night and Thursday night sessions, we started off with relays and sprint relays at that. Those are very exciting, and most of the swimmers are participating in those for a first event for the finals. So they kind of get their feet wet with an event right away. This time they got to kind of, as Madison was saying, prolong, make sure they're staying warm, hydrated, and ready to go when it's their turn after these 1650s.
Well, I think one thing that we've been on all weekend long, if you will, is Record Watch. And I want to talk about those. I went through them fully during our last show and coverage of the prelims, but just briefly talking about day 1, 5 different records broken. The men's 200 medley relay, the women's 500 freestyle, the men's 500 freestyle, the men's 50 freestyle, then the men's 800 freestyle relay. So a really impressive first day, and that's before we even scratch the surface of the second day. The second day might have been even more impressive. It just felt like record after record was falling all day long. Any thought on the amount of records we've seen broken?
It just speaks to the level of the athletes and their commitment to what they've done all year, and they're hitting, swimming fast at the right time of the year at the conference, and then hopefully cut and getting national qualifying times and going on to the nationals meet. So really it's a credit to them and their coaches for the hard work that they've put in through this season up to this point. Just kind of turn the reins loose and let it fly and see how fast they can go.
And I definitely think that we have a possibility to see a couple other records broken, or at least come close to those records tonight. And I'm excited to see what we have at the end of this. Again, we've talked multiple times about just getting a new record book, and that might end up happening after the 3rd night tonight.
There's a look at your points leaders entering Saturday. 704 for the Buffs before we began prelims. Is there any coming back on the men's side?
I'm not sure if it will be possible or not. Again, anything is possible, but again, I mean, we're going to have to see some really great races tonight if we want to be able to see that.
Great races, hopefully no mistakes, false starts, DQs, things like that, where teams can go where they've got point scores, but then they don't end up getting those points. Hopefully we don't see any of those mistakes by our athletes tonight, because that's always a tough pill to swallow at a championship meet when you make a mistake that you haven't made all year, and it's disappointing. So hopefully we don't see anything like that.
So this is heat 2 of 2, the women's 1650 freestyle. Cece Jimenez Martinez in lane 1, a sophomore for the Union Bulldogs. 2 freshmen in a row, the first for Milligan, the second for the Bulldogs. Rosalie Wenheim in lane 2, Monka Petrick, who we've seen tear it up all weekend long in lane 3. Riley Renaud, very, very impressive junior for Milligan in lane 4. The freshman Peyton Brady, another super impressive competitor for the Buffs. And then 2 more freshmen rounding us out, both from Milligan. Caitlin Williams in lane 6 and Kylie Mousty in lane 7.
This is definitely going to be a great race. They're getting up on the blocks right now. We'll get these girls in the water.
We're off in Kingsport.
And I want to say, I want to keep an eye on lane 4. Riley actually is a junior from Milligan, so she has past experience being at this meet, swimming at this specific facility. Last year in 2024, she actually placed first in the 1650. So she has that experience. She knows what she did last year. She knows kind of how to control her pace. Again, if we're looking at her seated time of a 17:48.32, she's going to kind of have to hold to get that time around 1 minute and 4 seconds per 100 that she does here. So again, we're going to be tracking her pace. We will keep you guys informed on what that looks like. But again, Riley does have that notch where she is an upperclassman. She's been here before. She knows kind of what it's like to swim in this pool and to pull off a first place win for a 1650.
She's also our current record holder in this event, set last year of a 17:25.09. So we'll kind of watch that as we go along here with this long race, see if she's approaching that too.
Yes, and beside her, again, we have Monka Petrick from Union, freshman, and then she has another freshman next to her in lane 5, Peyton, from a freshman from Milligan. So she has a couple swimmers that are teammates of hers swimming very close. Again, they have practiced together. That's going to help her a little bit. It's also going to help Peyton a little bit as well because she knows how Riley works. But again, she's surrounded by underclassmen, which is going to push her a little bit. Yes, does she have an advantage? A little bit. But again, freshmen also have a little bit of advantage too. They're a little bit younger. They don't know what to expect.
Yep.
They're going to put it all out.
Exactly. They don't quite know what they don't know yet. And in the swimming world, that can be a very, very big advantage.
I feel like a theme all weekend long has been the underclassmen coming in and tearing it up. And we've been saying this is the conference of the future. I mean, these freshmen are incredible this weekend.
They are, and we've seen a lot of freshmen coming in. And again, they're not just coming in and swimming in prelims, but they are coming and swimming back at finals, getting those fast lanes, the middle lanes, and placing very high, which is very impressive to do your first year of college swimming, being able to just focus, both being an athlete and a student, put the work in and grind. So again, it's absolutely amazing. They have multiple years coming to, again, just continue to get better. We see that there's a little bit of a separation between lane 4 and lane 3, but not by much. Again, lane 3, she's holding on to lane 4, and that will probably continue as they swim this 1650.
As far as pacing goes, looks like they're right on track for where they want to be holding. Again, many ways to swim a 1650 race as far as your pacing goes, so we'll see which method they use and which one pulls away when they get the chance.
And again, we see those, their pacers, their card holders at the bulkhead, they are using those counters so they know what lap they are on. And we'll continue to see those counters help them with their pacing. Sometimes they will shake those counters up and down. They might sway them side to side. If they're moving those counters up and down, they're telling that swimmer in the water, hey, you need to pick that pace up. You're not going as fast as we know you can and that you should be going to get the time that we need for you. And if they move them side to side, that's saying, hey, whoa, back off just a little bit. We need to pace this out. You still got a lot to go. You're going way too fast. You're going to burn yourself out. They are huge in a long race like this.
And that's that mode of communication between coach and swimmer during this one. With your head in the water as much as you are in this one, it's very hard to get an idea, because you don't have a clock that you can watch at the side of the pool. You've got nothing on you that you can watch. So that counter is your mode of communication to see where you're at.
Definitely. Definitely looks like Riley has pulled ahead about 2 body lengths. We have our lane 3 and actually lane 6 are holding pretty close as well. And then following would be lane 5. Again, still close enough in this race. It can go back and forth with leaders, and then they can fall behind a little bit. But then again, you know, you kick it in to your last couple of laps, and they can come out of nowhere with a sprint at the end and surprise us. And again, 1650 is in the water for women's, 66 lengths of a 25-yard pool, or if you want to shorten it just a little bit and look at it in laps, 33 laps.
That doesn't shorten it.
It does not.
That does not shorten it for me.
And a lot of these swimmers are using those different tactics. You know, can they look at it instead of looking at, man, I have to swim 66 lengths? Can they look at it in laps and make that just mental thought process a little bit different? Again, they might be splitting it up to, hey, I'm going to do hundreds, I'm going to do 3 500s and 150 at the end. So they all use different tactics, which is really cool to see. And I mean, in all sports, in running you see that, in track you see that a lot too.
And you can even see it with the counters. You may notice that some are counting up from 1 to 66, others are counting down. So it kind of depends on the swimmer as to what they want and how they want it counted. I always preferred when I swam these long events to go from 1 and go up and not go down, because I'd get lost at some point.
Same. I was always 1 and up, and honestly, I just didn't even look at the card. I was waiting for that red at the end. And we still have a ways to go, but we're close. We're getting there, and close to the halfway point. And Riley's still out in the lead. And she still looks very smooth in the water, really good turns. Underwaters are looking nice. I mean, she's getting still out to the flags. Again, we're not going to probably see a lot of kicking. Again, her legs are very kind of still in the water. She's kicking very, very little, but some swimmers are saving that. You know, lane 3 right now, she has a little bit more of a kick in her stroke. Riley might be saving that up for the very end, to where her arms are dead. She needs to focus on that kick, and she'll kind of kick a little bit more, and we'll see that as we approach the finish.
Very important just to kind of have a steady, maybe a 2-beat kick or a 1-beat kick behind you here early on. And as Madison was saying, with the turns, with so many turns in a race like this, it is a chance to build some momentum to head back towards the other end. So you can't waste each turn that you get.
Yes, and they are definitely relying on those turns, because those turns are helping them. I mean, really, it is kind of that, hey, I can rest my arms real quick for about 2 seconds, flip, and then continue on. So those turns are very important for these girls right now. Still looking really nice in lane 3 as well. Nice turn, still breaking out right at that flag point. Really smooth stroke. Again, not kicking as much, but that is typical in a 1650.
Yeah, Riley's got a nice, real strong turnover, nice long, reaching as far as she can, getting every distance, every yard out of each stroke she can get.
And right now in the pool, we have 5 freshmen in the pool right now. The fact that they were able to come in as freshmen, underclassmen, make it back to finals in such a long distance event is absolutely amazing for all of these swimmers in the pool. And I mean, including our upper freshmen, we have a sophomore in lane 1 from Union, and then as well as our junior in lane 4 from Milligan. These girls are tearing it up right now. It looks like we might be approaching that halfway point in lane 4.
And Madison, what did you say she wanted? We wanted her to average to break that record. What was it, 103, 104 per 100?
Yeah, per 100, about 104, 103-ish. Right now, she is seated time is 17:48. So, I mean, she's definitely going to have to pick that pace up if she wants to beat her record from last year. Again, she proved that she could do it in 2024. Can she do it again?
Just tracking her splits here. She's holding that probably 104, 103 threshold. So she may be right on pace to see if we can have a good second half of this 1650 to see if she can get that record again and improve her own mark.
Definitely still looking strong coming into this wall. Nice flip turn from Riley. Definitely have a crowd here for a 1650. I mean, looking at these bleachers, they are definitely full behind us and beside us. Really great to see the crowd that is here right now watching such a long distance event. And we're excited to have them all here today.
Really nice turnout. And I'm sure the gym, the aquatic center will continue to fill up as folks make their way over here for the rest of the events. But yeah, great turnout, and you can tell people are into it.
Yes, there is cheering going on still with this long distance event. We have teams over there cheering as well. I mean, people are definitely, you know, focused on this event. Who's going to bring this home for a win? Riley's still looking really good.
Yep, still
Very strong. I mean, her stroke really hasn't. We have not seen really a big change in it.
Nope.
Lane 3 from Union looking still good. I think she's definitely feeling it a little bit. We can see that change of a stroke just a tad bit, but still very strong.
Yeah, all of our ladies right now, all of them look very well. We're in the middle point of the race. Some are past the middle point, some coming up to the middle point. So this is where we may see some changes as far as more kick, more arm tempo to get through and get going a little bit quicker here as we head towards the end of the race.
And we can see lane 6 has definitely picked up that turnover with her arm strokes. I mean, she definitely is moving water. She is probably most likely chasing lane 3 down. And she knows, I mean, even though she has about a body length, 2 body lengths ahead of her, she still has that possibility of catching her. We still have quite a bit of swimming to go. So, I mean, lane 6, you never know. Is she going to be able to capture that second spot on the podium?
Again, that moving up in place, that's big for the team race.
Yes.
And that's just another freshman in this lineup. It seems like it's all freshmen. In lane 6 is Caitlin Williams from Milligan.
Definitely, and I mean, with these freshmen coming in, you know, for them to set a name and to set a place and going into next year, that's just going to help them. They're going to have that experience going into next year. They're going to know the tactics that they had this year, and they'll be able to use those next year. So it will definitely be interesting to come back in 2026 and see what they can do as an upperclassman and a sophomore. Still looking good. Lane 3 can definitely see lane 6 approaching on her. She has an eye on her. She's watching her on her heels. And can she just hold her off?
Monka Petrick, very, very good sprint swimmer. Surprised to see her doing the distance, to be honest, after she was so quick yesterday.
Yes, I mean, honestly, I am very surprised because even this morning in our first heat of the 1650 for women, we actually had a lot of mid-distance and 100 sprinters swimming such a long-distance event, and you typically don't see that. But again, a lot of these coaches are using the tactic of, I want to be able to put you in what I need you for. So you're going to train everything because, you know, if an athlete gets sick, if they get injured, they have to have those other options there to be able to get their team points and put them up for possibly winning a team award.
Yep, that's the nice thing about swimming. Try to have your athletes as well-rounded as you can, experience all the events. Obviously, they've got their key ones and the ones that they are really, really good at, but they can always have a second and a third option that they're still pretty good at and can score you some big team points.
Yes, and it looks like right here in lane 3 and lane 6, on one of these flip turns, we're gonna see
a change.
6 change out and take that second lead possibly from lane 3. I mean, and it could come down to the wire. They definitely see each other, but lane 6 has a little bit extra energy in her stroke and in her kick to get her a little bit of a lead. Very nicely done. And she is kind of breaking away from lane 3 at this point, about a half a body length.
Yep, she definitely made a move there. We'll see if she can hold that going through the rest of the way.
And very nicely done as well. I mean, she knew she was on her, and I mean, she just used that tactic of, hey, this is how I'm gonna take over that second spot.
That's Caitlin Williams in lane 6. Lane 3 is Monka Petrick. So that's one of the only head-to-heads we've got going on, because there's only 2 Union Bulldogs. There are 5 Milligan buffs.
Yes.
4 of those buffs are freshmen.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yep. It is incredible. And I mean, I know that they had a lot of seniors last year that they had to replace. And I mean, it's great that they are able to find some fantastic swimmers to come in and I mean, just deliver what they are able to do. Definitely makes it a little scary though for the other swimmers to see such young classmen being able to swim so fast.
Well, it's going to be a problem for these programs. They're going to need to find a way to keep up, stay competitive as these athletes become more conditioned, more efficient, improve their technique, and continue to shave off time.
Yes, definitely.
Well, and the competition in practice only breeds better success. If you've got a good distance group, I mean, I can't imagine what some of the distance practices are like at Milligan when you've got, 4 or 5 here in the last seat of the 1650 for women. They've got to be absolute dogfights at times with practice and swimming and racing there.
We are getting very close to the end here in a little bit. Lane 4 doing still a great job. I mean, she's going into this flip turn. It doesn't honestly even look like she has swam that far at all. I mean, really, her stroke has not changed whatsoever.
Wonder if she's going to start bringing in her legs a little bit more, because she's going to be turning, and we're going to be at 63.
Lane 6 still looking very strong there as well. I mean, her stroke is just, she's getting those arms up out of the water, but can she continue that for the rest of what she has to swim? Nicely done, nice turn from Riley in lane 4, and she's getting ready to get that bell, and what that bell means is, hey, this is your last lap to go, bring it home strong.
17:10 on the clock, her record 17:25.
And it is definitely going to be close, and if she can get back in time for that record. And her legs are now moving. I mean, you can see that kick and that turnover with her arms.
And notice she's not breathing as much either the last little bit. Try to speed it up and get into the wall a little bit.
Very nice. I mean, that final time in that split was a 29.74. I mean, a 50 after you just swam that far. Absolutely amazing. Her final time was a 17:33.42. She killed that. She did not break her own record, but again, I mean, she just placed first in the 1650 for women, grabbing those points for her team. We are going to bring it home for lane 6
as well.
Very nicely done, and we will see lane 3 coming in for Union. Very nice. Lane 6 came in second with an 18:06.94.
Caitlin dropped 24 seconds from her entry time on that swim, so very nice job for Caitlin Williams there out of lane 6.
Very nicely done. Lane 3 coming in third with an 18:12.97.
She had a good, she improved on her entry time as well, so very nice job out of those 3.
And again, those 2 that finished second and third are freshmen for Milligan.
Yep. again, they have a long ways to go in school and in swimming as well. I mean,
I can't believe Monica Petrick is this good at distance as well.
I know.
It's unreal. Relax.
Being able to sprint and distance is a hard thing to do, and she was able to claim that today. And the girls are definitely feeling it on the wall. They are tired, and they deserve that break right now.
Now, what'll be interesting to see, remember we had a heat of women this morning. Their times count for tonight as well, so they could end up into the top 8 depending on how these other 3 swimmers finish out here this race this evening.
Yes, because this is a timed finals event, so we had our our consolation heat actually swam this morning after prelims or during prelims. It will be very interesting to see those finals and how it's placed and who gets the final points. But we definitely can see that Riley definitely will secure a first place win for today. Very nice job from the women, and hopefully the men can now show what they have to kind of set the tone for tonight's events for finals.
The men's 1650 freestyle featuring Morgan Roselle in lane 1, a freshman from Milligan, a junior out of Milligan, going to be featured in lane 2, Michael Salucci. Gersley Torok, a freshman for the Bulldogs of Union in lane 3. Abel Azenyi, another freshman for the Union Bulldogs, checking in for lane number 4. In lane 5, it'll be Peter Gilbert, a junior from Milligan. Another junior from Milligan, Jacob Miller in lane 6. And Nicholas Harville, the computer science major, a senior for Milligan, rounding us out in lane 7. This promises to be very competitive.
Yes, definitely. I think we're definitely going to have some close races here. I mean, we're looking at lane 3 and lane 5, and they're only, they're hundredths of a second apart in their time, so they will definitely be close. I do want to say that our lane 4, our fastest seated time, Abel from Union, he's a freshman coming in with a seated time of a 15:55.93. Again, that right now is a record-breaking time. Our record for the men 1650 right now is 16:05.85. So, about 10 seconds. And can he do that again to where we can move that record into place for him? If he wants to be able to hold that, he's going to need to be holding about a 57.88 per 100. That's fast. Very fast.
That's very fast, especially when we get to our 100 free consolations and finals later this evening. That's 10, 12 seconds off of what maybe the top qualifier will swim, but yet he's holding that for 16 100s here. So, it speaks to that. But also, too, Abel is only 2 seconds off of the NAIA cut for the national meet. So if he can drop a couple seconds, he'll be swimming this at nationals.
Glad you're with us. If you're just joining us, it's the 2025 AAC Swimming and Diving Championships live on the Southeast Sports Network. Got the whole KAQ here with me. I'm Gabriel Schrei, and glad to have you on SCSN.
Well, thanks for having us. We're glad to be here. We're getting ready to send the 1650 men off the blocks. And here we go for the men's 1650. I want to say that lane 5, Peter from Milligan, he's a junior. He placed first in the 1650 last year in 2024. Again, he's going to have a fight to fight because lane 4 is a freshman. So this is the first time he's ever swimming up against this freshman, and he might have to use a little bit different of a tactic than he did last year to where Peter in lane 5 can, again, claim that win like he did last year, but can he do it?
You'll notice again, this is a 1650, but, to set up your pace and where you want to be, once you get into the race, you still got to be out a little quick that first 50 and first 100. If you start off too slow, you're not going to be able to snap into that pace that you want to get into and settle into.
Definitely, and it looks like lane 5 and 4 are going to kind of stick together here, and then it looks like lane 3 and lane 6 are also going to kind of stick together and hang out. They can definitely see each other side to side. I mean, they are using that peripheral vision to be able to see where are my opponents at in the water, to be able to either stay in the lead or to try to catch them and race them. Very, very nice turns.
Guys, this freshman in lane 4 is just nuts. He just got to the whole conference here.
Yes.
It's his first year making it all the way to the conference tournament and competing. What does he do? Day 1, he breaks the 500-yard men's freestyle. Just incredible.
Incredible athlete. Definitely a distance swimmer. You know, swimming the 500 and then now swimming the 1650. Again, this is definitely his focus. It's his discipline, and he does well at it.
Yep, he does. And you may notice too, he is swimming on the far side of his lane, away from his competitor to his right in lane 5, to prevent any kind of a draft getting picked up there to kind of help his competitor along. So another strategy and chess match and game within swimming there.
Yes. Very nicely done. Good turns off the wall. Good underwaters. They're breaking out right at that flag, which is nice. We have our counters down at the end. Again, those counters are used to where we can, the swimmers can pace off of them. They're telling them, hey, you're good. And they go up and down and shake that counter up and down, telling them to speed it up. And if they wave it side to side, they're saying, hey, you need to slow it down. You're using way too much energy at this point. And we will see them use that tactic throughout this 1650.
So far, pacing-wise, Abel looks like he's settling into his pace that he may want to hold for this 1650, around the 28-29 second barrier for each 50. We'll see how that plays out. And the one next to him from Milligan looks like he's settling into that 29 mid or 29 high for his pace.
And that's Gilbert, who won the event last year, and they're pretty much neck and neck, just a length between them.
Yes. And again, it's going to go back and forth. I mean, even though he is about a body length ahead, again, he's able to catch him. I mean, we still have a far way to go in the 1650. Leader can shift, just like we saw with the women, you know, lane 6 taking over lane 3 about halfway mark. So again, right now, there's no promises. And it's just going to be a fight between these two as we come down to the very end of this race.
Just kind of still keeping contact out of Steven in lane 6 with Abel there, excuse me, lane 5. Just staying in contact, keeping him close. You know, maybe you got a stronger kick on the back half here. You know, you never know.
And I mean, even in lane 3 and lane 6, we still have a fight too going on. I mean, those two swimmers are also close in lane 3 and 6. About a body length between each other. He's right on the heels of lane 3. And again, that could shift here and go back and forth. Will the Union swimmer in lane 3, who's also a freshman, be able to hold out that pace? Or will lane 6, a junior from Milligan, be able to take him and catch up to him?
Notice with Abel still, he's got a nice good tempo. Good turns off of each wall, solid kick coming off the wall. And you'll notice his legs kind of relax, going the rest of the way towards the other end, saving those legs for later in the race.
Very good job with these boys. The big thing, so with NCAA rules, the only way that somebody could possibly be disqualified at this point, because they're all in the water, is if they just stop swimming and get out. So as long as they can finish it out and swim, I mean, they could roll over on their back and start swimming backstroke if they wanted to. Because again, it is a freestyle event. You can swim whatever stroke you really want to. As long as they finish out and they touch every single wall with some type of body part, they're good. There will be no violations. And that's the good thing about freestyle events, is it's very hard to get disqualified. Does it happen? Absolutely. But right now, we shouldn't see any violations happening at this point. They just have to swim and focus on what they are doing right now. And lane 3
yeah, we're going
is
to start watching lane 3. He is
growing his, you know, distance from lane 6. Again, another freshman in the water.
That's Torok Union Bulldog. UCU could sure use the points on the men's side especially.
Yes, if he can claim some points for Union, that will definitely help Union going into this finals night here in Kingsport.
Yeah, those two in that race for that second place are kind of splitting even right now, 50-50 if I'm watching it here. So we'll see how things play out. If one gets a little bit faster, they may catch up a little bit more, but it looks like Stevens pulled away a little bit from lane 3 here.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about Torok, the true freshman for the Union Bulldogs in lane 3. Abel Zenyi, who's got a commanding seed time, 15:55. Also a true freshman for the Union Bulldogs. And Peter Gilbert, who won the event last year, he's in lane 5.
Abel is, killing it. He has grown that distance. He is more than half a lane ahead of his closest competitor, which would be lane 5, Peter. And Peter won this race last year in 2024. He's doing a great job. He will definitely, be able to claim a spot on the podium with what he has created. But again, we got to keep our eye on lane 3, because right now lane 3 still has that possibility of catching up to lane 5 and catching Peter in this. We still have ways to go in this event. We're close to halfway point at this point. But again, still a lot of swimming to do.
And just to speak to what Abel's doing here, if he can hold his pace and break 16 minutes in the 16:50, that's a very notable barrier for swimmers. If they can get under that 16 minutes, that means they're averaging and holding under a minute per 100, and over 16 100s. That's a very impressive feat. So we'll see if he can hang on and get under that 16-minute barrier.
And again, his seated time right now is 15:55.93. He has a provisional cut for nationals, but we are looking at, can he get a national cut, which would be a 15:53.98. He has to drop about 2 seconds to be able to clinch that national cut if you would like to go in the 16:50. Definitely still looking strong. Really nice underwaters. He's definitely coming past the flag mark in his underwaters. Very strong arms, long. He's not kicking as much, but we will see that possibly pick up here in the next couple of laps he does.
Yeah, he's really carrying his momentum very well through his turns, helping springboard him back towards the other wall after each turn. Very important. The further you get off the wall, the less strokes you're going to take per 25, and that's very important on a long race like this.
And lane 3, again, doing a really great job. He definitely has lane 5, Peter, in his view. He is looking at him. You can kind of see how he's picking his head up, not directly sideways, but kind of lifting it a little forward. I think he wants to be able to see, where am I at? How far is he from me? And he's racing. He's trying to catch him. Doing a very good job with it. He's closing that gap as we come into this next turn for him.
On that last 50, he did outsplit Peter in lane 6 by just a little bit. So his tempo's increased and his speed is going. We'll see how this plays out here over the last little bit of the race.
And suddenly it feels like Milligan really needs Peter Gilbert to pick it up. Like, they really need to not lose these points. These are big points.
Yes, these are big points. Peter needs to be able to pull through on this and clinch that second spot on that podium. But can he do it? We will have to wait and see. The positive thing with Milligan is, they have 5 swimmers in this event alone. So even if Peter's not able to pull out that second spot on the podium, again, getting 3rd place is not going to hurt Milligan whatsoever. They all will get points. That's just the depth of their team. Over 50 swimmers on their roster is absolutely amazing to have. For a swim team, just any team in general.
Yeah, that's a very big NAIA school for a swimming team to have that many swimmers on it.
Yes. Peter's still looking very good. He's able to hold off lane 3 enough just to where he's not able to catch him on his heels. We do not, Peter doesn't want lane 3 to be able to catch catch up or be on his heels, because that's just where it gets closer, and he has to swim a little bit harder. Abel is still killing it in lane 4. I mean, absolutely crushing it right now. I don't even think I could walk a 50 as fast as he's swimming it right now. Definitely gonna need a nap after this one.
Yeah, he's still holding strong with this pace, right around 28 high, 29 low. So we'll see where he ends up here. That's pretty close to that 57 average per 100 that we were needing to see, not only for the record, but maybe a NAIA national cut this evening.
And I mean, for Union to be able to put a swimmer that is so talented and so fast in an event like this, I mean, it is going to help their team significantly, being able to grab those points, because Union can definitely use the points. And they definitely have a great swimmer in the pool, and they, you know, right next to him is his teammate as well. Lane 3 is also a freshman from Union.
You know, it does. If you're a good distance swimmer and you're a freshman, that's usually what you're going to find your spot in as a collegiate swimmer. Even if distance isn't your thing coming into college as a freshman, that's maybe where you might end up, just depending on how the roster shakes out and where you're needed to be. But like we've said all along, these freshmen are coming in and performing at very high levels during this meet.
They are, and it looks like lane 3 has actually lost his cap in the pool. We sometimes will see that in distance events where you're just swimming so much your cap might slip off. A lot of swimmers will actually double cap, and they'll wear 2 caps just to make sure that they have that extra protection, because again, his hair is causing some type of drag with him. It might be, you know, if his hair is long enough, it could actually be getting into his face, causing some just visual impairment, which is not what he wants. But again, he's still doing a really great job. Don't know if he'll be able to catch Peter, because Peter has definitely widened that distance between him a lot.
Yeah, Peter's definitely picked up on his pace.
Really great job going into that turn for Abel. I mean, it doesn't even look like he has been swimming as long as he has been. We're about 13, almost hitting the 14-minute mark of this race right now.
So Abel is under 200 yards here to go. So he's got 2 more 100s of our pool here in Kingsport to finish up his 1650.
What an amazing performance.
Yes, I mean, and honestly, kudos to every single swimmer out there that ever swims a 1650. It is a hard event to swim. It is a long event, 66 lengths of a 25-yard pool, 33 laps. I mean, it is a daunting event. You definitely have to be focused and ready for it if you're swimming it.
His lead is just colossal. His time he's going to post is...
Yes,
how do you compete with that?
I mean, it's definitely hard. I mean, looking at his seated time, we knew coming into this that he was going to have a very good lead. Not by this much, but I mean, he's just absolutely ripping through this water right now. And I am very interested to see what his time will be. That split 50 that he just did was a 29:17. He's been able to pretty much hold that, I believe.
Pretty close to that all through his race, and he's on his last 100 here.
And I mean, he is kicking it into gear.
Yep, you can definitely see the tempo's picked up. He is kicking a little bit more than what he was before. So we shall see what his last 100 here is.
We have Bruce down there, our starter for this meet, using that bell to tell him, hey, last 50, let's pick it up. You can go as fast as you want, and that red card is in. And this is his last 25. Let's bring him home.
Nice strong kick, good tempo coming in. Wow, he's going to have a very impressive swim here. 15:48 was his final time overall.
Very, very nicely done. I mean, that last one was a 26 split final time was a 15:48.43. That definitely clinched a spot for him at Nationals, and he just got a national cut.
That crushes the record.
Yeah, it crushes the record.
Crushes the record, yes. I mean, very nicely done for Abel in lane 4, and Peter just hit the wall in second place.
Sorry, we had an outside smoke there end up in third place that we kind of lost track of there.
Yes, Milligan, a freshman, Morgan, just came in out of nowhere in lane 1. I mean, absolutely crushed his time. His seated time was a 16:07, and he just went a 17:07, and he just went a 16:20.
Wow.
I mean, that's almost a whole lap.
Very impressive swim there out of lane 1. But again, looking at entry times so far, it looks like everybody has improved on their time that we have seen so far.
Very nicely done. Again, Abel in lane 4 just crushed the record for this men's 1650. He also just got him a national cut in the 1650. Absolutely amazing swim. Very well executed.
Yeah, he was hitting his times, and again, if you go back and look at it, that last 50 was a 26.9 out of him. His last 100 would have been at a 54 if I'm doing my math right in my head real quick, and his first 100 was a 51. So that's very good to be able to be within 3 seconds of your first 100 and last 100. That's kind of what we shoot for in the distance world, bringing it back as strong as you took it out.
Very well done. I'm very impressed. I mean, all those men just kicked it out of the water. It looks like we're getting ready. A couple of guys lost their caps, and they had to go get their caps out of the pool, but now we're getting ready for the women's 200-yard backstroke, our first heat.
So we'll have 4 in this consolation final. Abigail Jackson in lane 2, Annabelle Lee in lane 3, Mia Wildman in lane 4, and Isabel Jensen in lane 5 for the 200-yard backstroke. 3 sophomores, 1 senior. Mia Wildman is a senior for WVU. 2 koalas, 1 in lane 3, 1 in lane 5, and a Milligan Buff in lane 2. Now that we're back to short distance, you can feel the tension already.
Yes. And it looks like in lane 3, the official does not like the feet placement of the swimmer in lane 3. So again, the toes have to be underwater. They cannot be wrapped around the top of that touch pad. And it looks like she had to fix her placement of her feet before they could be sent off the wall.
And that's kind of why those wedges are in place, to give these swimmers a little bit extra grip, a little bit something extra to push off of, since you can't curl their toes over the top of the gutter there, to kind of help them get some more elevation and propulsion off the wall there.
Yes, and those backstroke wedges are fairly, I mean, we've been using them for a couple years, but I mean, they're still fairly new, and the swimmers are still getting used to them, trying to figure out the best placement of their feet, and, you know, if they want to use them or if they don't want to use them, because, you know, again, a lot of these swimmers probably started out swimming not using backstroke wedges as kids and growing up. You know, they've been able to use them a little bit more, but it's a different type of feeling whenever you have them and don't have them. And not every facility that they swim at either will have backstroke wedges. And it looks like lane 2 is going to pull out just a little bit, about creating about a body length between opponents.
Abigail Jackson looking very good. Milligan Buff, a sophomore.
And this is a mid-distance event. It's a 200, so again, you are still pacing yourself, but I mean, you are sprinting this. Definitely going to crank it up here as we hit our halfway mark.
Pretty tight between Mia Wildman and Isabel Jensen in lanes 4 and 5.
And Ryan, with backstroke, as a coach, is there any tactics that swimmers use with a 200 backstroke?
I mean, really, all your 200s, you know, I kind of coach them all the same way. Of you want to get out strong, quick, not a full dead sprint on that first 50, but by that second 50, you're kind of building that first 50 into your second, and then that second half of your 100, you're just getting home. But even nowadays, I mean, the 200s and even the 500 is just becoming an all-out sprint for that entire race. So, you know, the pacing and the thought of the race technique has kind of changed a little bit. But again, you got to be safe to not go out so fast that you can't get home. That's the biggest thing with these 200s.
Yes.
Don't overswim that first 100, so then you don't have enough to get yourself home that second 100.
Yes, and we'll see that sometimes where they just go out so fast that they just can't bring it home anymore because they spent too much energy. It looks like we're coming in on our last part, and lane 2 is going to get on the wall first. In lane 4 and then lane 5. Very nicely done. Lanes 2 placing first with a time of a 2:25 flat. Very nicely done.
And that is Abigail Jackson, the sophomore, who comes through with a strong time.
And Abigail, actually, so on our heat sheet that we have, she's actually exhibition, so her time, you know, it counts, but she will not get points for her team for that swim, which it does help out lane 4, lane 5, and lane 3, because they'll actually kind of move up in placement and be able to clinch some extra points for their team with lane 2 swimming exhibition. We have our heat 2 walking out here of the women's 200-yard backstroke.
This promises to be very, very competitive. Anna Alves in lane 1 for this. Samantha Van Vuer in lane 2. We've seen her tear it up all weekend. Hannah Tomlinson in lane 3. Emily Haas coming in lane 4. Azalea Gabrikova in lane 5. Ariel Furman in lane 6. Kale Buss in lane 7. And Virginia Rayner in lane 8. A really good lineup.
Yes, very good lineup. And, you know, Hannah in lane 3, a sophomore from Brunel, she placed 3rd on the podium last year, so I'd like to keep an eye on her. And the fun part about finals is that in prelims, they're not swimming as fast as we know they can. They're kind of saving some energy up for finals. So that's where, you know, just in the 1650 for the men's, we saw Morgan pulling out in lane 1, coming in hot, and he was able to get on that wall out of nowhere. So again, these girls, it could come down to the wire, and we're not gonna know who is gonna come in first, second, third until they get in the water and they come home.
Yep, because prelims, it's all about securing your spot into finals. Finals, it's about racing. You know, if you're of the level of a swimmer where you can kind of maybe take it easy in the prelims to conserve some energy for finals, that's always a nice spot to be in, because then you can come out and just let it fly for finals.
Yes, we can see the girls lining up behind the blocks right now, and they're all kind of getting ready to get into the pool. A lot of them may be splashing water on them. That's just a tactic to get them focused for the race. Again, this pool is cold. It's about 79 degrees, so a lot of them will splash water on them so they don't get a body shock when they jump in to set for backstroke start.
All 8 lanes filled for this event.
Watching real close on lane 4, Emily, a freshman from Milligan, coming in. And here we go, getting them in, getting them set.
Emily Haas has had a huge weekend.
She has, yes, and I'm excited to see this 200 for Emily. It looks like all their feet are placed and they're ready to go. And we're off, and you know, the thing about the start at swimming and in a lot of your sports, it will be dead silent. And we just heard that where, you know, it's so quiet for those swimmers to focus on that start. It kind of gives you a little bit of a chill just how quiet it can get in here with so many people.
And you'll notice too, you'll see some different strategies amongst these backstrokers as to how far they're going off of each turn and using their underwater dolphin kicks to get out far away from that wall and get their momentum for that next 50. On these 200s, you've got to remember oxygen debt can come into play in that second half of the race. So let's see how they work that in here to their race plan.
And it looks like in lane 2, 3, 4, and 5, I mean, we are pretty much equal. It's going to come down to the wire. It looks like lane 5 might be picking up just a little bit. Can she gain any distance on this turn? And it looks like lane 4 actually pulled out just a little bit in front of lane 5. Again, lane 4 is Emily. She's a freshman from Milligan. Very nicely done. She's creating more of a distance, about half a body length now at this point.
Yep, she's got a nice back half of her 200 backstroke coming here.
And we are going to hit the wall on our last 50 to go. And can she bring it home for Milligan?
She extends it a little bit further on that turn.
Yes.
Gonna have a tight race here for a second. Looks like lane 2 is starting to come up here as well in that group.
Yes, and lane 2 is another Milligan swimmer, Samantha. And then we have...
Haas has another good turn, very tight.
Looks like lane 2 might close in and get a second place, so maybe a 1-2 finish here for Milligan.
Fingertips for second. Haas finishes strong. Van Viewer trying to pull ahead. And Samantha gets to the pad in time.
Nice finish.
Done by Samantha. That was a great finish.
The 2:06.79 for Emily on her finishing time there for that first place finish in the women's 200 back.
Very, very nicely done by Emily.
Super impressive stuff. We're going to flip to the B final. Heat 1 of the men's 200-yard backstroke. Only 4 lanes filled for the B final. Scratch that. 3 lanes.
3 lanes.
Ben Tomberlin, Adam Bankston, Jaden Beard in lanes 3, 4, and 5 respectively.
And all Milligan. It looks like, looking at this heat sheet too, they are all exhibition swimmers. So again, the exhibition swimmers swimming right now are not going to gain points for their team. They are most likely swimming this just to kind of see what time they could possibly get, and can they clinch a better time than what they have seated at this point.
All 3 juniors, all Milligan buffs.
Nice underwaters.
Yep. And again, just a reminder, on the underwater starts, turns, pullouts, swimmers can only go 15 yards away from the wall they are just pushing off from. If you look at our lane ropes, you'll see a red buoy at each end, and that indicates the 15-yard line that they need to be up and swimming by.
Yes, me and Ryan were thinking the exact same thing. And you know, swimmers sometimes will get close. I mean, we've seen multiple swimmers in the past get disqualified for breaking that violation. It's an unfortunate thing, but they do have to be careful with their underwaters.
Well, I've noticed you brought that up on day 1, so I've been watching that, and I've noticed some of our competitors, obviously not in this heat of this race, but they like to bend that. They like to get as close as they can.
And they will, you know, being able to have a really great underwater, it does save them a little bit of energy. It can, you know, if they have a really good underwater, I mean, it can give them even a lead on their other opponents, and they'll try to push it. And unfortunately, sometimes they push it a little too far and they get caught.
That underwater dolphin kick, some coaches consider that the 5th stroke. You know, it can be a very, very beneficial thing for you, or it can be a detriment depending on how you use it. You know, again, that didn't always used to be the rule that you had to be up 15 yards away from the wall on each turn. You know, it was put into place because we used to have swimmers that were very fast underwater. They'd go the whole length of the pool, come up for a breath before their turn, do their turn, and then go back the same direction. So they had to put that rule into place because that 5th stroke got developed very fast and very good for certain swimmers.
Yes, you know, these guys looking great. Lane 5 looks like he might have the lead and be able to make it home first to finish this 200 backstroke off. Very nice job. Lane 5 coming in first, lane 4 second, and then lane 3 third. And it looks like lane 5 clocked at 155.72 to finish out. And it looks like they're going to call in the second heat of the men's 200-yard backstroke.
Jaden Bearden pulls together another really nice finish in that event.
Yes, very, very nice.
So for the A final, heat 2 of the 200-yard backstroke for the men, Bryce Barton will be in lane 1, a U-Pike Bear, followed by a Bulldog in lane 2, David Muniz Espen, sophomore, a freshman from Milligan, and another Milligan buff in lane 4. Morgan Roselle will be in 3, Stephen Gilbert in lane 4. In lane 5, Simon Murhout. Simon was really competitive last night as we wrapped up, a WVU man, a sophomore. Sapaki will be in lane 6, and Sambi also very good last night, a sophomore for the Union Bulldogs. And Pablo Asin Rubio, who we saw bust out and get some of his first action late in the night on Friday, a junior for WVU Tech.
This is going to be a really great race. We definitely have some close, seated time, so I definitely think it will come down to the wire. In lane 5, a sophomore from West Virginia Tech actually won this race last year in 2024, so it will definitely be interesting to see what he can pull out against his opponents next to him with a little bit faster seated times, and can he do it again? We see the swimmers kind of lining up right now, shaking out their legs, maybe possibly going to splash some water on them, just kind of focusing before this event gets started. Again, they're putting some water on their face, and a lot of times they'll actually put it in their mouth. I know it sounds gross, but they don't want to choke on the water. It's kind of just a mental tactic if they put water in their mouth, just to know that, hey, I'm okay if water goes in my mouth. It's just all a mental thing that swimmers will do for them.
That's a little gross.
It is a little gross, but hey, as an athlete, you do what you got to do, right?
Yep. Rub some dirt on it, right?
Yep.
Only 7 lanes filled for this. The lead seed time, 1:54.72 for Stephen Gilbert. 3 competitors within 3 seconds of that time.
Definitely going to be close, and they're setting those wedges, getting them in place, making sure their feet are in place, is what the officials are doing currently, and it looks like they're good. Bruce, our starter for this week, is going to send him off. And we are started with the final heat of our men's 200-yard backstroke. Again, we're watching lane 4 with the fastest seated time, Steven from Milligan, 1:54.72.
It'll be interesting to see, because this morning they all knew that they were all going to be swimming tonight, so they could relax and kind of swim through the prelim swim to get their spot for tonight. So we'll see how some of these entry times hold up and if we see some impressive drops.
Yes, because with the way lineups worked, again, they knew this morning if they were swimming in prelims, they had plenty of time to rest. And were they able to do that? That's the hard thing, though, is like, what did they do during that break?
Simon had about a half a body length, and he's already relinquished it to Stephen Gilbert before I could even call it out. And Gilbert is starting to pull away.
Yeah, Stephen had an impressive second 50 there.
He's got a little more, maybe 3/4 of a body length.
But you can see the difference in tempo between Stephen and Simon right next to him. Stephen's got a little bit of a faster tempo, and that just little bit of a difference makes it very hard and very easy for Stephen to pull away.
Call it a full body length.
Yeah, and I want to say, in lane 3 is Morgan. Morgan just swam the 1650, and he is now back in the pool. I mean, absolutely outstanding. I mean, he had very little time to recover, and he crushed that swim in lane 1.
Our record might be in danger if Stephen Gilbert can keep this pace.
He can get home here.
1:42 on the clock, 49 the record, pushing for it. Strong finish. He's on the wall. It's going to be very close. Second place in the bag for Simon. He got it.
Wow, nice swim by Stephen. So we have a new conference record in the men's 200 back set by Stephen Gilbert. The new record is a 1:48.53, lowering it from a 1:49.17.
And that should be our second record for tonight.
Yep.
just adding to that record book again. Very, very nicely done by
Can't we
lane
leave
4.
some records standing?
I don't
Can we leave
think
a
so.
couple?
Again, I mean,
For this conference meet, no.
What are these freshmen going to do for the next 3 years?
I guess break more records.
Break their own records over and over?
you know, again, kind of a little unexpected if you look at the entry times. I mean, Steven came in with a time of a 1:54 from this morning, so not really knowing what's going to happen. That's a perfect example. I mean, he goes to 1:48 in finals. Obviously, he was able to kind of relax and just swim through this morning, get a time, get a lane for finals, and away you went.
And it looks like we are in a 5-minute break. They're going to do awards for our backstroke and for our 1650 as well right now, and they're getting ready for that. Some really great swims.
Really impressive start to the finals on Saturday.
They have set the tone right now for what is to come. And coming up, we have the 100 free, the 200 breaststroke, the 200 butterfly, and then we're going to finish off the night and finish this weekend in this championship meet with the 400 free relay. Honestly, for me, the best event of the entire weekend, because it is going to be crazy in here.
You can already tell the energy is through the roof.
Yep.
Yes.
Just looking ahead at what our conference meet records are for those relays, we have both relays, men and women, from Milligan right on or below our meet records for those two relays as well. So more records to come, hopefully.
Definitely exciting.
We'll take a break along with these programs and be back with more of the 2025 AAC Swimming and Diving Championships from the Kingsport Aquatic Center in just a moment.
The Southeast Sports Network is now on Amazon Fire TV. Now you can download the SESN app and watch on any Amazon-enabled device, such as your Fire Stick. The easiest way to download the app is to go to our website, find the Watch SESN tab, and click Fire TV app. Then just select your device from the list. That's it. Free and easy. Enjoy watching the Southeast Sports Network on your Fire TV, Fire Stick, or Fire tablet with just a few clicks.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
A truck is a tool, but a ram is life. Yeah, it's the wipe the sweat off your brow sort of life. But it's also the let's load up the ATV's life. The my kids play way too many sports life. The let's find a secret spot to fish life. That looks nice. Innovations, comforts, and powertrains built to power all the lives you live. Ram.
At the Salvation Army, a shelter isn't just a place to rest. It's a chance to shed layers, let loose, and finally let it go. With your gift, a warm bed is just the beginning. It's the first night of a new day. When our homeless neighbors feel safe enough to close their eyes, they can see the way forward.
Back in Kingsport, Tennessee, from the Kingsport Aquatic Center. Take a look around Kingsport. Brickyard Park has all your baseball and softball. That's where we are right now, and coming to you live from inside of the Kingsport Aquatic Center. Things to do, fun with the whole family, or maybe just you and the girlfriend get away for a weekend and come visit us. Downtown shopping, eating experiences you can only imagine. Whether you like motor racing and want to make the 20-minute jog down to Bristol, or you want to go hiking and experience nature in the area, it's all here. It's all Kingsport, and they can't wait to welcome you. And if you're looking for how to get more info, how to get connected, you can find it all. Visit Kingsport.com or follow Visit Kingsport on social media. It's that easy, at Visit Kingsport. Get connected. Link up. This is the Southeast Sports Network. Gabriel Schrei, glad you're along with us. We've had a really good time all weekend long. We're wrapping up. It's the final Saturday. A lot of heats left to go, and probably the best action still on the table.
Yes, definitely. Yep. I mean, we've had some really great swims. Already 2 records tonight broken, and I feel like that we are going to possibly see another record or 2 being broken or getting close to it. Coming up, we have our 100 freestyle next, and then we will follow that up with a 200 breaststroke and then a 200 butterfly, and then we will come back and finish out today. And our final event will be the 400 freestyle relay, one of my personal favorites. It's going to be crazy in here at the end of this meet.
And entering this final day, all Milligan buffs. UCU needs a big comeback on both the men's and the women's side to make it happen. Milligan is looking to build on one of the greatest runs in AAC history in any sport. 4 in a row for the men, looking for 5 tonight. 3 in a row for the women, looking for 4 in a row tonight.
Yes, and Milligan has definitely crushed it in the pool. Again, they have a roster of about 50 swimmers, and that's absolutely amazing to have that big of a roster in any NAIA swimming team, and in this AAC conference. It's just amazing to have such talent, you know, at Milligan University. Really great job to Spencer for being able to build such a great program.
And they're talented 1 through 50. You know, each one we've seen with some exhibition swimmers here tonight that could easily, you know, be on another team in this conference and be scoring points and a major contributor as well. So they are talented from top to bottom on their roster.
Definitely, and it looks like our women's 100-yard freestyle is kind of collecting behind the blocks, and we're getting ready to kick it off with our first consolation heat of the women's 100-yard freestyle. Again, I think this will be a very close race. We have some very close times for our seeded times here in the 100-yard freestyle. Freshman from Union in lane 3, and then also a freshman from Bernau in lane 5. They're separated from one lane, but I definitely think that they are going to battle it out for a placement, possibly on the podium, or possibly just to get points for their team.
And just to give you the quick rundown, Patrick Dalen in lane 1, Isabel Jensen in 2, Isadora Silvera A. Silva in lane 3, Susie Aguirre in lane 4, Emily DiMaggio in lane 5, Angie Arenas Flores in lane 6, Madeline Smith in lane 7, and Julia Colombo in lane 8.
We're going to get them up on the blocks here. And Bruce, our starter, is going to send them off.
Get important for a quiet aquatic center here at the beginning so everybody gets a fair start.
Yes. We're in and swimming. And again, this is a sprint, so they are going to crank it out for 4 lengths of this 25-yard pool. We're going to see them staying together for the most part. Ryan, can you talk about what the tactic is for a 100 freestyle sprint?
Yeah, it's basically just get in the water and go as fast as you can until you can't go no more. Unlike the 50, where in the 50s it's just a down and back sprint. You know, you may see swimmers not take a breath that entire race, but in 100, since you got 4 lengths to go, you still want to have a breathing pattern of some sort. You don't want to go into that oxygen debt, but the up-tempo arms and the 6-beat to 8-beat kick behind him, which you see there out of lane number 4. Very strong kick behind her as she's coming here that last 25.
That's Susie Aguirre. She looks like she's got first on lock. Close behind her is the 3rd lane, Isadora.
Nice finish.
Photo finish for 2nd, but Isadora is able to lock that up.
Very nice swim from lane 4. Again, Susie, from a senior from Milligan, just cranking it home. I mean, she had a good body length ahead of the other girls and was able to secure that first place spot and able to get her team some points as well.
But again, nice swim by all ladies there. Looks like everybody improved their time from this morning.
Great job. Very nice. Looks like we're bringing in our 2nd heat of women. This is going to be another close race. Again, we have multiple swimmers that are hundreds of a second away from each other. I mean, we are going to battle it out, and that's the fun part of swimming. It's just we're not going to know until these girls get in the water, and it's going to get a little crazy here in just a second. You see them walking down the bulkhead and across it.
And this might be one of the most talented lineups we've seen all weekend long. The talent that we're going to have in the pool on this heat is really incredible. Olga Bukowska, the sophomore for the Golden Tigers in lane 1. Liz Mahan, the senior for Milligan, going to start out in lane 2. Dory Hosa, a sophomore for the Bulldogs of Union in lane 3. Madison Akbari, a sophomore for Milligan in lane 4. Sophie Bell, the freshman for the Golden Tigers in lane 5. Lisa Poissot in lane 6, a sophomore for the Bulldogs. Another freshman for the Golden Tigers, Abby Binns in lane 7. And the Milligan Buff rounding us out, a freshman, Abby Pauls in lane 8. And these are all names that we've heard all weekend long, making big moments happen. Not a single name in this lineup is somebody who hasn't made a big impact.
Right, and I mean, lane 1, Olgie, she swam the 1650 this morning, so kudos to her for being in this race. Also, lane 2, Liz, a senior from Milligan, she actually placed 3rd last year in this race. And then Dory in lane 3, a sophomore from Union, placed 2nd. So they've been on the podium in the past. They know the tactic to get there. Are they going to change that tactic today with different swimmers, or are they going to use that same tactic and pull through, able to clinching them a spot or not in tonight's finals?
6 of the 8 seed times are 54 seconds.
should be a very, very exciting race.
The barn is on fire.
Yep.
It is. And here we go.
A hush falls over the aquatic center. We're set and off.
Nice nice underwaters, good breakouts from the girls. It's going to be close the entire way. They have 4 lengths, and they're at a 75 to finish now. There's not really any split between any of them. I mean, they're all pretty much hand in hand in the center there, lane 3, 4, 5, and even 6, and lane 2 on the outside.
Super tight. We're down the back stretch. 1 turn to go.
Let's see who's got the best turn coming off of this third one here in this 100.
It looks like lane 5 is able to hit that wall first and get off of it, but can she hold that little bit of a distance or not?
Maybe a lead in the hands of Dory Hosa.
Watch
really
out for
close
lane
with
6.
4 and 5.
Lane
We
6
saw
is
it
coming
trying
in.
to pull ahead.
Nice finish.
And
wow.
lane 6 is able to pull it through with a first place finish. Again, sophomore from Union absolutely just killed it, and her finishing time was a 53:43. Nicely done and executed from Union swimmer in lane 6.
Good time improvement from all swimmers again in the final heat there.
Wow, really good job. Nicely done. In lane 3, Dory coming in second. Again, she placed second last year and she just took that back. Very nice. In lane 5 coming in third.
This B final for the men's 100-yard freestyle. Noah Manias in lane 1, Zane Whitaker in 2, Bryson George in 3, Jose Fernando Perez in lane 4, Lancelot Javel in lane 5, Ben McLaughlin in lane 6, Jacob Rubano in lane 7, and Stefan Merkel in lane 8 rounding us out.
And it looks like Bruce, the starter, had them stand up because somebody screamed during the start. Again, it needs to be quiet to where they all have a fair chance to start and hear that buzzer send them. Bruce has done many different meets, a very great starter.
They eat the first 25 alive.
And it looks like we're gonna hold kind of even. It looks like lane 5's able to pull forward a little bit on his swim. Can he keep that on this next turn? Going to our last 50.
Lancelot's out ahead by about a half a body length.
And second place on this heat is gonna be a close one between 4 and 3. And who's gonna be able to come home the fastest?
George is deadlocked with Fernando Perez. Lancelot hanging on to first. Looks like Fernando Perez is going to finish second as he pulls away just a little bit from Bryson George.
Nice swim.
Nicely executed from lane 5, placing first. And his final time is a 48:63. Definitely dropped a couple seconds off of his seated time there, so very well done. We are going to now bring out the final heat of tonight's 100-yard freestyle. Again, I feel like that we just started and we're almost done with the 100 frees.
Yep. Splash and dash.
Yep.
Splash and dash. I like that. Moving very
Splash
quickly.
and dash.
This is the A final for the men's 100-yard freestyle. Toby Edwards will be in lane 1. He's a freshman for the Union Bulldogs. In lane 2, a Milligan buff, Riley Greger, a freshman for Milligan. In lane 3, Michael Rinaldi, who's been big this weekend. And an even bigger name in lane 4, Paxton Smith, a sophomore for the Milligan Buffs. He's been electric. 2 Union Bulldogs, a freshman and a sophomore respectively. Enzo Constable, a record breaker. And Cesare Lehman in lane 6. Another guy who's been huge this weekend. In fact, this is just another star-studded lineup. A sophomore in lane 7, Sergio Tudor, a sophomore for Milligan. And finally, a freshman for the Bulldogs, Matty Odeza in lane 8, rounding us out.
Yes, and you know, lane number 4 is Paxton Smith. And keep an eye on him because he won this last year, came in first in the men's 100-yard freestyle. So again, he has experience. He's a sophomore. Last year he was a freshman and won this event. So it will be interesting to see if he can pull that off again. Or is Enzo, who has broken records, will he be able to pull through and deliver a battle between Paxton and him. We will have to see that here in a second.
Well, I think Rinaldi was on a record-breaking relay team. Paxton Smith, Enzo Constable. I think Enzo Constable's been on at least 2 records, if not 3.
Yes, he has. A very, very well executed races from Enzo. I mean, he's just a freshman from Union. We've seen some great swims from him.
So the prelim seed time for Paxton Smith, 45.8. Everybody's within 3 seconds of that.
Yes. We're getting them up on the blocks.
Your primary lanes to watch again, and of course we've seen this broken time and time again, but just going off of seed time, we'll watch 4, 3, and 5, Paxton Smith. Alongside him, Rinaldi in 3, and Constable in 5.
Nice turns
Yep,
there.
watch Enzo. He was out quick this morning, kind of shut it down the last 25 a little bit, so expect him to have more in the tank. And he's out in 21:03, 21:5 for Paxton.
And he's creating that distance between Paxton, but Paxton is
Holding
definitely
tough.
chasing him.
Yep.
And can he get him? It does not look like it. It looks
Nope.
like Enzo is going to create that space, and he is going to have it in the back. Can he break
Rinaldi
that
and
record?
Smith are in trouble.
I think he just set another record for himself as a freshman. We will see it on the board here coming up.
Yep.
44:32. Just crushed
New
the
record.
Last record was a 45:34. Absolutely amazing. I mean, and that secured Union needed points for the men's. They needed those points, so great job for Enzo for grabbing those points for his team.
Enzo also just got a NAIA Nationals cut. That cut was a 44.92, and he won a 44.32, so very nice job out of him. And again, it looks like everybody else in that heat did improve from this morning, so excellent racing again.
This is the B final for the women's 200-yard breaststroke. So Morella Rutgiuliano in lane 2, Sabrina Shayavan in lane 3, Erin Pease in lane 4, Sophie Del Rinken Aldana in lane 5, and Lucy Ellison in lane 6.
And we are now in our 200-yard breaststroke for the women. And again, this is a mid-distance event, so we want to make sure that we're not going out too fast. We are pacing ourselves, but it is a little bit of a sprint. Ryan, compared to a backstroke 200, what is different about a breaststroke 200? Anything?
Yeah, there is some difference. You will see some swimmers start off this first 1500. They'll stretch out their stroke, try to get as much distance per stroke that they can for each stroke cycle. One arm pull, one kick, and they'll try to, get as much as they can out of each one. So their tempo may be a little bit slower this first half of the race, and then once they get to that second half, you'll see that tempo quicken up. Their stroke may still be, elongated a little bit, still getting that distance per stroke, but you'll see the tempo pick up a little bit more and take maybe a couple more strokes per 25, but that's the main difference between a breaststroke and a backstroke. You have that ability on breaststroke to really elongate your stroke, get as much out of each pull and kick that you can, still be quick, still cover some distance over a backstroke event.
And it definitely looks like lane 2 has widened a gap between lane 4. Lane 2 is a Milligan swimmer. She's a senior. Again, she is swimming exhibition, so the placement for her will not count towards team points, but her time can count. Maybe she's looking for a personal best, or maybe her coach is just kind of testing her out and, hey, have our workouts and our practices, have they worked, or do we need to adjust something in training for this type of event? And it looks like lane 4 has about half a body length on lane 5. But lane 5 is definitely picking up the pace. She's closing that gap at this point. It looks like her turnover is a little bit faster than lane 4.
Yep, you can definitely see the turnover difference.
And lane 4 is definitely gliding a little bit longer than lane 5.
See if that changes here on this 50. Not too much. Again, you see that difference in stroke style, different tempo. You'll see it change back and forth between the swimmers depending on what their race strategy is.
And lane 4 is definitely filling it on this last 25 home. I mean, You can tell her stroke is definitely a little different than what she started out to be. And did she just go out too fast? Was she not just able to hold that pace? But I mean, she's still sticking right with it. She's gonna put up that fight. Very well done from lane 2. Milligan coming in first. It looks like lane 5 will be able to out-touch lane 4 to grab that second place in this heat of the women's 200-yard breaststroke. Very well done. Lane 2, a swimmer from Milligan coming in first with a 2:35 or 39:14, and then lane 5. And lane 5 is a swimmer, freshman from Union, clocking a 2:49:57. Very well done from all the swimmers in this heat. We have lane number 6 bringing it home. Lane number 6 is a senior from Columbia. On her last 25, will she be able to drop time off her prelims time tonight? It's definitely going to be a close one.
Finish in strong here. Will cut some time, I hope.
Well done. We'll have to see if she cut any time or not once the board flips over. 3:54.64. Does not look like she cut any time, but still a great swim. She showed up. Looks like we're bringing now the final heat of the women's 200-yard breaststroke out. Again, these swimmers, in prelims, they did not expend all energy that they had swimming. So again, we might see a little bit of a race. It is definitely going to be close between lane 4 and lane 5. And lane 5 is Tessa, a senior from Bernau. We have seen Tessa put out some great races here again, but she will definitely have a fight between lane 4, a junior from Milligan. We'll have to see who is able to get on the wall and grab that podium spot.
Don't forget about lane 3 there, Emma Phillips, sophomore from Union. She won the 400 IM earlier this week in the meet, so she definitely has the stamina and endurance for a 200. Just see if she can put the race together to stick with those first 2 swimmers.
She's been excellent. To give you the full rundown, the senior from WVU in lane 1, it's Danielle Labor, followed by a freshman from Milligan, Phoebe Leichty. In lane 3, it's Emma Phillips, as you mentioned, the sophomore from the Union Bulldogs. A junior for the Buffs, Tegan Jose in lane 4. And somebody who's been cooking all weekend in lane 5. Super impressed with the Golden Tiger, who's a senior, Tessa Ipen Chung. A freshman from Union in lane 6, Julia Liberty. And the junior from Milligan, Virginia Rayner in lane 7. And a Golden Tiger who's a freshman, Ariel Furman, rounding out our 8.
It's definitely going to be a close race. And these women are behind the block, and they are getting ready to hop up on the block, and Brees will send them on their way.
Well, really close times in this heat.
Yes, I mean, again, we are definitely, just a couple seconds off. Looking at the times, very close for all these swimmers. And they're up on the block. And now they're in for our final heat of the women's 200-yard breaststroke. We should be good to go for tonight.
And again, you'll see a different strategy between all of these swimmers, whether they're a little bit more elongated with a longer bit of a glide, but still being quick with their stroke, or they're just swimming their normal pace from the get-go on a 200.
Tessa is absolutely killing it on the first 50. I mean, she has made about a body length between lane 4 and her other opponents, but can she hold that? I mean, she is really cranking out a fast 50 for a 200 breaststroke, and hopefully she'll be able to hold that for another.
Keep this pace for another 100. We'll see.
Yep. But, lane 2, 3, and 4 are going to definitely be close. Lane 4 is kind of pulling away from lane 2 and lane 3. We also have lane 6 staying right together with lane 2 and 3. And can she keep up? Again, we're halfway
she's
there.
out quick. She's got 108.2 for that first 100 there in lane 5.
Very nicely done. I mean, her stroke looks good. It does not look like it's changed at all. And can she hold it on this last 75 that she has to go? Very good turnover. Not too long of a glide. Hitting her last 50. Can she bring it home?
Good underwater pullout still again off of that third turn.
And Emma in lane 3 has pulled away from lane 2 and lane 6. It looks like she might be able to come home and claim a spot on the podium as well. Can she catch lane 4? I mean, she's closing in.
She's coming, but she may run out of real estate just a little bit here.
Yep.
Oh, Tegan almost gave it up, but she'll hang on for second.
Wow, good swim by
Nice
all
swim.
3 females in the pool right now. In lane 5 coming in first, Tessa. We've seen Tessa swimming a couple different events. Her clocked time at the end was a 2:23.26. Very nicely done. Again, just seconds off, about a second off of that record time, so very well done. And she dropped a couple seconds off of her seated time. And for her senior year to be able to take home another first place podium win has to feel good.
Yeah, all 8 ladies in that heat dropped time.
Very well done. And we are moving on very quickly to our first heat, our consolation heat of the men's 200-yard breaststroke. We have them up on the blocks and we will send them.
5 lanes filled for this heat. In 2, it's John Cox. In 3, Thomas Remley, Sebastian Galvez in 4, Corbin Peters in 5, and AJ Stradlow rounding us out in lane 6.
Yes, in lane 2 and lane 6, 2 Milligan swimmers swimming in this event. They are swimming exhibitions, so again, their spots on the wall will not count for points to their team, but their times will count, and again, they might be looking for a specific time, or their coach might just be looking at, hey, is training working, or do we need to change something? Very good turn from lane 4 coming off the wall. West Virginia Tech swimmer, a senior. Is he going to be able to hold that pace for a 200?
And again, this was another one of our events where everybody was going to make the finals as long as they didn't get themselves disqualified. They were just racing for a spot in the championship final or consolation. So we'll kind of see with times here if we see some bigger improvements this evening over this morning.
Yes, and you know, we did see a violation happen in a breaststroke event yesterday. Breaststroke is one of the typical events that we see violations happen and occur a little bit more often. You know, the 2-hand touches on the wall, making sure that they're not doing double kicks off the wall. They're coming up and breaking surface after that pull down. So this is a little bit more technical of a stroke. But hopefully all these men in the water right now can come home without violating any rules. Looking really good in lane 4. He's keeping up with lane 6 very well. And we're gonna bring it home in our last 50, and lane 2 is out in front. Last 25 coming in for John, a junior from Milligan in lane 2, and his turnover is just, I mean, he's cranking it out right now.
Yep, very good stroke technique too. Really efficient for how quick he's moving. May look like it's short and hectic, but he's getting a lot of every stroke and pull on that breaststroke.
Yes. Lane 6 will hit the wall in second place, with following not far behind. Lane 4 captured third place. And again, with the exhibition swimmers, they will not have points counted, so it actually kind of helps out lane 4. Lane 4 was actually able to pace off of lane 6 to help him out just a little bit, so he'll actually get more points since the two side lanes, lane 2 and lane 6, were exhibition. Very well done for all the swimmers.
Yeah, really, really good swims out of everybody in that heat again.
I believe that everybody dropped time. Looking at these times, for the most part, all swimmers dropped a little bit of time. We are bringing out our final heat here of the men's 200-yard breaststroke.
The A final will have Luke O'Mara, the freshman from the Bulldogs, in lane 1. Lane 2, Dimitri Bullock. He's been really good, a junior for the Bulldogs as well. WVU has a freshman, Xavier Travesi, who was absolutely on fire last night, pun intended. Lane 4, the lead seed time is Robert Adam, a true freshman for the Milligan Buffs. 2 juniors for the Buffs, Caleb Fry, who had a big night last night.
Yes.
Jack Allen had a big night last night as well. They're back-to-back. Then 2 more sophomores, both Union Bulldogs. It's going to be Jaden Lynch and Luke Colbank rounding out the 8 lanes in this heat.
Yes, this is going to be a very close race. I mean, in lane 3 and in lane 5 and lane 6, I mean, we are hundreds of a second apart from these swimmers. And again, these are prelims times, so they might have swam a little bit slower. We're not going to be completely sure how they swim until they enter into the pool, and we can kind of figure out, did they hold a lot back or did they hold not enough?
Yep, should be very interesting there in the middle of the pool between 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're all within a second and a half of each other, so setting up to be a very exciting race.
We are currently seeing the men kind of collect behind the blocks. They are getting the wedges ready to go, and they are just kind of focusing in, making sure that they are mentally ready to get into this pool and just kind of rip some water out. And Bruce is going to get them up on the block. We are going to send them off for our final heat of the men's 200-yard breaststroke.
Current record in this event is a 2:02.58. Don't believe any of our top qualifiers will be able to get there, but you never know. Everybody's swimming fast tonight. Let's see.
And we are off and in the water with our first 25 going into our 50. Overall, looking pretty good. I mean, across the board, you know, lanes 2, 3, 4, and 5 are staying all together. And lane 5 able to pull out just a little bit ahead. Very nice underwaters. I mean, they are definitely way past the flags on those underwaters, almost halfway.
Setting up to be a tight second 100 here.
We are about halfway on this 200. And can they hold this? What is it going to look like as we hit that halfway mark? Are we going to see anybody crank up the energy? Now we are into our next 100 of this 200-yard breaststroke.
Yep, see who's got this best third 50. That may determine if no one can come home on that 4th one.
Lane 4 is cranking it out. I mean, he is picking up the pace. You can see his turnover picking up.
We are real bunched up across from lane 2 to 6.
This is going to be a race down to the last stroke. We are hitting our final 50 left. Who's going to bring it home and capture first, second, and third place?
Looks like maybe lane 4 starting to pull away.
Yeah, it looks like lane 4 got on the wall and off of it first, followed up by lane 3 and lane 4, but can he hold him off?
Lane 3's making a solid charge here the last 15 yards.
Looks like he's going to be able to hold him off, and lane 4 clinches the win for the men's 200-yard breaststroke, followed by lane 3 in second and lane 5 in third. Really great swim. And
New
he
record.
just broke the
New record.
And that's why we always say, like Ryan said, you can never say it's not possible. It's just absolutely insane this weekend with the records that have been broken. Again, lane 4, Robert Adams, a freshman from Milligan, just clocked a 2:02.34 for breaking that old record of a 2:02.58. What a swim from all of the men. Wow.
Again, excellent swim by everybody. You know, like I said before, mentioned the record, didn't know if anybody was going to be able to get there, but obviously Robert Adams proved me wrong on that swim. Excellent swim out of everybody in that.
And that's where we just never know. I mean, the energy and the talent that is in this pool this weekend, and from a lot of, you know, young swimmers. I mean, a lot of these records have been broken by freshmen. Again, Adam is a freshman from Milligan. He just broke that 200 breaststroke record. What an incredible swim. He's definitely, we can see him down there. He is happy to be able to clinch that for his team. And I mean, he just got a lot of points also for Milligan. Yep. Hopefully securing their spot for a team award.
Yeah, because Milligan went first, third, and fourth in that.
And it looks like actually we are going to have a change in placement. It looks like we have a violation. We are going to listen overhead to see what this violation is. We will fill you in here in a second as it's being announced. This could be a significant change if it is a violation in this second heat, which I believe it is.
The officials are on the bottom right of your screen going over this. You know, we had a microphone on that table and I picked it up.
Yeah.
Would love to hear what they're saying.
Yeah, we will.
Disqualification in event number 36, heat 2, lane 7, swimmer Lynch. Double kicks off the turn.
Yeah, and that's what we just talked about. So in breaststroke, you cannot do a double kick off the walls, and it looks like lane 7 did a double kick, sophomore from Union. Again, he came in 6th place. Unfortunate for him to be able to lose that because of that violation. That bumped lane 1 up to 6th place, helping a sophomore from Milligan being able to move up a little bit and gain points back for Milligan. But again, we live, we learn, and we move on from it. All good, so.
Yep, and that double kick is usually a second dolphin kick motion. They're allowed to do one dolphin kick off the wall before they initiate their underwater pullout on breaststroke. And sometimes with the body motion, they may end up doing a second dolphin kick on that one. And apparently that's what an official saw this evening. That's unfortunate. Yes. That's the second one of that infraction that we've had this meet. So.
And it actually looks like lane 1 was actually from Union. My apologies, I was looking at the wrong, moved too fast ahead, but it gave lane 1, a freshman from Union, Luke, a 6th place win for that men's 200-yard breaststroke. We are now kicking off our final heat. We only have one heat of the women's 200-yard butterfly here.
I'll give you the rundown on who we've got in the 200-yard butterfly. Juliana Shayavan, the junior for Columbia in lane 1. In lane 2, it's Alex Hayashi, a junior from Milligan for the Buffs. A Golden Tiger and a freshman, Nellie Bennett, in lane 3. Mary Grace Bidding, a junior for Milligan in lane 4. 2 more Buffs in a row, a freshman, Caitlin Williams in lane 5, and Emma Ray Phillips in 6, the senior, and 2 for now Golden Tigers, a sophomore and a senior, Manuela Horta in 7, and Kelly Edens in lane 8, rounding us out.
Yes, and this is going to be a good race. I would like to pay attention and watch lane 4, Mary Grace, junior from Milligan. She actually won this race last year, placing first in the 200-yard butterfly. So this should be a good race for her again this year. Can she claim that first place spot again on the podium?
We'll have to watch the record. She comes in with a prelim time of a 2:07.91. Current record in this event is a 2:06.43.
Yes, and we are now off with our 200-yard butterfly for the women. Again, Ryan, talk us through, again, we've had a lot of mid-distance events going on tonight. We've had backstroke, we've also had breaststroke. What is the tactic for butterfly? Because butterfly is a more technical stroke. It's a little bit harder of a stroke. So what is this swimmer thinking, and what are these swimmers doing right now?
Again, this one, you can't get out too quick and too fast. You got to save something in your tank for that second 100. Butterfly, probably the most taxing of the 4 strokes. So really important to rely on what you've done all year for your stamina, your cardio, your endurance, because this one will take a lot out of you. You know, controlled first 100 and then just try to get home as best you can without having that proverbial safe fall on your back of that second 50, or excuse me, that second 100 here. And so far, they're looking pretty good. We'll see what the second 100 has for us.
Commanding lead for Mary Grace Bidding, who's in lane 4, being pursued closely by lane 3. Just a length there.
Yes, and even looking at lane 6, though, I mean, lane 6 has picked up the pace, and she's about half a body length from lane 3. I mean, she might be able to pull in a second-place win if she can keep up this pace that she has.
Coming down the back stretch. You're right. Lane 6 is way out in front now of lane 3, and that's Emma Ray Phillips, who will finish second in commanding fashion.
And again, can she finish this 50 out? I think she has it here, but can she catch Mary Grace? I mean, it might happen.
You can kind of see you can see as they get tired with this butterfly stroke, arms aren't coming out as far as they were before out of the water. Hips and their kicks aren't as active as they were, but this is the last 25. Let's see what they got coming home.
And they're all looking very well. Mary's looking really strong. I mean, her arms are coming up out of the water, and she's going to secure
finish by Mary Bidding.
First place spot with lane 6 coming in second. Really great job.
Emma Ray Phillips posts a great time. Following Mary Grace Bidding, she got that commanding early lead. She hung on to it the whole time.
Very well done, and it actually looks like did lane 6, I think she just got a provisional cut. Yeah.
Yep.
So lane 6 just got a provisional cut to nationals. It's a great job by Emma to secure that provisional cut that she did not have going into this race. Very nicely done.
Really good look. We do have a B final for the men's 200-yard butterfly. Only 2 in this heat, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it looks like we have 2 swimmers, Nolan in lane 4, freshman from Milligan, and Ethan in lane 5, a senior from Milligan, and they will battle it out. And Ryan, we've kind of talked a little bit about, you know, not having a whole lot of swimmers, you know, not racing with 8 swimmers. How does that affect the 2 swimmers in the pool right now, not having everybody in all the lanes filled?
I mean, it's a good and a bad. You know, the worst scenario is if you are swimming by yourself. Then you're fully reliant on yourself to bring your own juice and swim your own race. And have that energy of having others swimming around you to perform at your best. 2, it's not, you know, sure, we'd like to have a full 8 full heat, and as a swimmer myself, I'd like a full heat, but as long as I'm not swimming by myself, I'm okay, because I got at least somebody to race and not just race against the clock and myself.
Yes.
And I'm not quite sure what Ethan is
doing.
What his plan is here, because he has switched from butterfly to backstroke. We'll see if he goes from backstroke to breaststroke, meaning he's going to end up doing a 200 IM instead of a 200 fly.
And it looks like, too, one of the rules in NCAA is that if your coach does not scratch you from the event in the scratch-off time, if you do not show up to that finals, you are done for the rest of the swim. So if he did not show up and he failed to show up for this event, he would actually not be able to swim anymore. That includes even relays, and that could really hurt his team. So his coach might have just told him, hey, just show up, don't swim the 200, just swim whatever, I don't don't care if you get disqualified for it. You know, we won't get the points. It is what it is. He's also looking at it. He's also exhibition, so he actually doesn't even get points for this. It looks like another disqualification as well is coming, but we obviously know what this disqualification will be. He's not swimming the right stroke at this point.
I don't think the officials think it's as funny as we do.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really rare to see this, though, in a conference meet. But again, you know, if you miss that scratch time, if the coach misses the scratch time, you just do what you got to do. Make sure your swimmer swims it. If they get disqualified, it is what it is. Again, their exhibition, so the points and placement, it does not count for podium or points for their team or themselves. So very good job from Nolan, though. He's a freshman from Milligan. It looks like he cut some time. I actually got a chance to talk to Nolan. He's currently sick. He's been sick for a couple weeks. So for him to be able to show up and do a 200-yard butterfly, being sick, absolutely amazing. Again, talent, you know. They have to have talent to be able to do that and just, you know, push through the hurt of injury, sickness, all of that.
And so the A final coming. Heat 2 of the men's 200-yard butterfly as we wait for the walkout.
Again, we are going over that infraction for lane 5, Ethan, senior from Milligan. The infraction was swimming the wrong stroke. He swam a 200 IM instead of 200-yard butterfly. We figured that was coming, and not a surprise. I think the coach, seeing the swimmers over there, they kind of set that up and knew that was going to happen. And now we are bringing out our final heat of the men's 200-yard butterfly.
Sergio Tudor, the sophomore from Milligan in lane 1. Andre Bazana, the senior for the Buffs in lane 2. Carmine Bernardo, the freshman for WVU in lane 3. The Bulldog, Malik Biad, will be in lane 4. He's a sophomore. Lead seat time. Nate Horan, the sophomore for the Milligan Buffs in lane 5. In lane 6, we've got Gellert Zedlak, freshman for the Buffs, and 2 more from WVU to round us out in 7 and 8, respectively, a freshman and senior, Olaguire Siskart Montaigne and Isaac Valance.
And this is our last individual event for this weekend. It is definitely getting a lot louder in here. You can hear the noise from the crowd. They are excited to have this final heat of an individual event. And following will be our relays. But we are lining them up behind the blocks, and they are announcing their names at this time. The swimmers are getting their wedges set on the blocks, and they are now getting focused. Some of them splashing water on them. This is going to be a very close heat for us. We have some really close times. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, it's going to be kind of a head-to-head again.
Yeah, we'll see again another race where could maybe have swam a little bit easier this morning, just kind of swim through it to get your spot in the finals and then let it fly in finals. We'll see if we can approach our current meet record of a 149.01.
I mean, again, we don't want to say anything's impossible because we were proven very wrong on that one. We might come close to that record. We will see. And we are off with our final individual event of this weekend in this championship meet for the AAC conference. Looks like our first 25, we're pretty much all together like expected.
Great starting turn.
Yes. Very strong. I mean, even lane 1 is staying with the pack. I mean, this might be across the board a race on all lanes. Again, swimmers did not swim completely as fast as they could in prelims because they wanted to save energy.
Tudor, another good turn. Bazana's right behind him in lane 2. Tudor, another good turn in lane 1.
Yep. Very well done. A smooth butterfly stroke. I mean, he looks effortless in the water right now.
Biad's hanging with him. Gellert is hanging with them in 6.
Starting to tighten back up again. A benefit to being on the outside as opposed to the middle do get a little clean water because you don't have anybody swimming on the other side of you to your right or left if you're out in lane 8.
Super important turn, and Malik Beard does what he does best. He's coming from behind. He's got a little bit of a lead building in lane 4.
You see his tempo starting to come. He's got a nice strong kick behind him as well.
Tudor and Bazana in lanes 1 and 2 are very close. They're tied up with Gellert, who's over in lane 6.
It can be a nice finish here for a second place.
And Gellert might be able to catch up. I mean, he's really putting the work in and maybe able to catch lane 4, but I don't know if he can do it on this last 25.
Great turn by Beard, who's going strong down the back stretch. Second place is a toss-up. In lane 2 is Bazana. In lane 6, Gellert looking to finish strong. Gellert might be ahead by an arm's length, and he got it.
Nice finish.
Nicely done. Lane 4 coming in first with a time of 1:51.72. Very nicely done. Again, many seconds cut off. He cut about a second off of his prelims time from earlier this morning. Very well done. And we had lane number 6 come in second with a 1:53.09, and then following with lane 2 coming in third with a 1:53.95. Ending that out was a perfect way to end our individual events for this weekend.
And as that ends, you can feel the electricity coursing through the air. The fans on standby for the women's 400-yard freestyle relay. And the Kingsport Aquatic Center is the most full it's been all weekend. Everybody's fired up for this. Really quickly, the disqualification.
15-meter mark violation.
Wow. So what the announcer just said is lane number 5, Nate, a sophomore from Milligan, did in fact break that 15-meter marker. We've talked about that 15-meter marker a couple of times, but at some point in time, the judges on the sides actually saw him pass that 15-meter marker, and he was disqualified for that. I mean, that really changes it up for the standings. So now we still have first place in lane 4 coming in first, but lane 6 came in second and lane 2 came in third. I mean, a really big, Milligan lost that, but again, freshman from Milligan came in second, so really great job to that freshman in lane 6. But man, it's tough, and hopefully as a sophomore, Nate can learn from it. Maybe not push it too much next year and come back from it.
I think it was off of his start, was the one that he went past the 15-yard mark off the start.
And that's typically when we will see it, is off that start for butterfly, for backstroke is when they start off. And sometimes they just don't really realize how far they've gone in the pool. And I mean, it can be fingertips, too, as well. But unfortunate for Nate, but again, really great swims for the other guys in the pool. And it looks like we will be taking a 15-minute break here for awards for our 100 freestyle, our 200 breaststroke, and 200 butterfly. And then we have left, again, my favorite event, 400 freestyle relay. We'll kick it off.
Very excited. We'll have the 400-yard freestyle relays and much more when we come back in just a moment on the Southeast Sports Network.
Welcome to SESN, your ticket to the front row of the sports world, covering local, regional, and national events. We bring the game to you. Feel the excitement of every play, every score, every victory. Get your seat, get on air, and immerse yourself in the heart-pounding action. The Southeast Sports Network, where sports come to life.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
I got involved in officiating volleyball 8 years after I played Division I in college.
Saying yes to volleyball officiating will give you the privilege to be a part of one of the most exciting sports around.
I'm a speaker,
Builder.
I coach.
Culinary arts.
Auditor.
A firefighter.
For anyone contemplating becoming a volleyball official, just go for it.
Take the plunge. Open the door.
Say yes to officiating. Learn more about how to get involved at sayyes2officiating.com.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
We're there to serve, make sure we're creating a fair atmosphere for both teams, upholding the integrity of the game.
I chose to be an official. It's the best decision I've made.
In life, things aren't scripted. Games aren't pre-scripted. You know, I got into officiating because my father was an official. Officiating was part of our family life. It wasn't just the game.
Get to be outside, get to like experience the game. It's so much more fun. You can get a lot out of it.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
It helped me become not only a better official, but a better person.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
And it's just been wonderful.
Welcome back to Kingsport, Tennessee, and inside of the Kingsport Aquatic Center. Glad you're with us. Gabriel Fry here. We've had a great show this weekend on the Southeast Sports Network, and we're down to our final 2 events. I'm ready to get loud. Very excited for these 2 400-yard freestyle relays.
Definitely excited for these 2 relays. We have the women's 400-yard freestyle relay, and then the following with the men's 400-yard freestyle relay. Again, I believe looking at the preliminary times that we have, it's going to be a close one for the women's. I mean, again, hundreds of a second between lane 4 and 5, and lane 3, Bernau is a couple seconds away from them as well. So it will definitely be a really good race for these relays.
Yeah, we should see maybe a possibility of a record in both of the men and women's 400 free relays coming up. On the men's side, the race, based on times, looks like Milligan should be the one to come away a winner on that one, but Union is seated second, just behind them, and they'll have our, probably our male athlete of the meet, Enzo Constable, probably on that relay at some point, whether leading off or anchoring, kind of depending on what the coach has chosen to do on that. So it still should be in a very exciting race.
And, we've seen some really great swims from him this weekend. I mean, he's broken a couple records already. Broke one this evening, actually. So we're excited to see him.
In the 100 freestyle.
In the 100 freestyle, yes. We're excited to see him back in the water for hopefully a 400-yard freestyle relay. Ryan, kind of talk to us. So what is the difference between a 400 freestyle relay and the tactic of building that team for that relay, other than the 200, and then you also have the 800? What's the difference?
Again, you're looking for your 4 fastest kids. Whether they're all your top 4 freestylers or not, kind of depending on where you're at as far as your lineup goes. At this stage, third day of a championship meet, as far as your order goes, there's many different thoughts. Some coaches like their fastest one going last. Some like to lead off with their fastest 2, get out, get a lead, get clean water for the other 2 swimmers to finish up. It really kind of depends on what the coaches and what they feel is their best lineup and what their kids like to do. I always like to have my fastest one anchoring and bringing it home. Usually a senior, reliable one that you can have back there that they're still going to perform. And, try to put your competitive one back there too. If they're behind, they don't want to lose, they're going to swim as fast as they can so they don't lose. That competitiveness inside that burn can help out swimmers as well.
Definitely. And I mean, even looking at it as well is that some of these swimmers, have swam multiple events today, so that's going to go into the decision as well of which swimmers have swam just one, maybe none, or maybe 2 events. Which ones are going to be my fresh arms and legs to get us home and possibly get us a placement on that podium, and hopefully a high placement as well. Yep. Definitely love to see the different tactics that go into building a relay team. It's always so different and so unique as well.
That's a boring gig this weekend.
Hey, they're loving it.
Yep.
That is how we are able to continue to, operate our facilities with our lifeguards. I mean, again, being a lifeguard is a hard job. I mean, we have actually had situations, where these athletes are expending all their energy in the pool, where they might get sick on the side, and, we have to care for them right away. So, again, just because this is a, conference championship meet where we have really great swimmers, we still have to have lifeguards on the pool. That is a Tennessee state law that we have to have so many lifeguards on our pool covering it for safety reasons, and it's just for the safety of the swimmers and even the spectators up here and us as well, to make sure that everybody is okay. Safety is the key thing for our facility here at Kingsport Aquatic Center, and hopefully we all stay safe to finish out this great weekend here in Kingsport.
That's a good law. Have you ever seen one of these collegiate athletes swim to failure?
Yes, actually. We actually had a couple years ago, I think it was about 4 years ago, we had a 50 freestyle, women's 50 freestyler. She swam her 50. She got about to the flags, and right before the wall, she dead stopped, grabbed onto the lane rope. We saw her head kind of tip back, and she completely passed out in the water. And Jessie Charlton, who's actually the assistant manager here now, she actually completely jumped in, closing everything, poloing everything into the water, had her wallet in her back pocket to be able to save the girl, because again, she passed out. I mean, she was out, blacked out. She pulled her to the side and we were able to care for her. But again, there's just a lot of medical things that can happen when you are pushing yourself all the way to failure. And it looks like now we are going to bring out our women's 400-yard freestyle relay for tonight's final relay for the women's. And here they go, walking out.
And just to reiterate the point of the lineup strategy here, again, you may have an idea as to what Milligan's going to do as an assistant coach at Union, and vice versa. You know, you may have an idea, but you don't know for sure, because, you know, relay participants, they're turned in, prelims in the morning, and then they're set, and that's just turned into our, you know, meet director and meet referee. None of the other coaches really see that, so it's a guessing game. That's the game within the game, the chess match that, you know, swimming lineups present the coaches as, how can I figure out what's going to be my best relay combo of 4 to score the most points, to swim the fastest, and to outduel the other teams in that heat.
Definitely, and I think that's why relays are just so interesting to see how they build them, because there is that unknown factor of what are the other you know, teams doing, and how are they building. Are they putting their fastest swimmer first? Are they putting them last, maybe third? Yep. I don't know, and I think that's why they're so interesting to see. And I mean, it is going to get loud in here already. We can hear the teams cheering for the teams collecting behind the blocks, and the swimmers are currently removing their warm-ups, and they're going to get set. And again, remember, a 400-yard freestyle relay is 4 swimmers, and they're going to each swim 100 yards, being able to bring it home with 400 yards total. And they're going over the names. We'll go through the names. So in lane 1, we have Milligan B. In lane 2, we have West Virginia Tech A. In lane 3, we have Bernal A. In lane 4, Milligan A. In lane 5, Union A. In lane 6 is Columbia A. And lane 7, Bernal B. And they're up on the blocks, and we will get started with our final women's relay.
We're off.
And here we go. Again, this is 100 for these swimmers that are in the water. I mean, Ryan, they are going to take us and sprint this entire 100 as fast as they can. Most likely to failure. I mean, they're going to barely be able to get out of the pool at the end of this.
Again, unlike a 50 where it's just a down and back, you still got to maintain your proper breathing technique, whatever breathing pattern you use. You don't just want to hold your breath and go into oxygen debt so quick that you can't perform at your best. And again, depending on the lineups here, we will see some variances in who's in the lead throughout this race.
And right now, looking at it, it looks like lane 5 and lane 4 is about neck and neck. Following behind is lane 3. But again, we still have 3 more swimmers to go. And right now, we want them to be safe.
One leg down.
One leg down, and it looks like we are good. Again, we do not want any early takeoff violations. That is what we are currently concerned with, is, you know, none of those swimmers on the block are leaving early from the block. Their opponent, their teammate's hand has to be on the block.
In the second leg, Milligan and Union way out in front and looking really good. Close behind enough is Bernal, the Golden Tigers. They're keeping pace about a body length, maybe 2.
I'd say just about a body.
Almost to 75 yards for the second leg. The third leg standing by. Another great turn.
Another good turn, and I mean, they are neck and neck again. Union has about a body length on Milligan in lane 4, and here we go for another takeoff.
Look good across the board on those.
Good start by Milligan. That's going to give them a little edge.
Very well done. Again, Union, though, able to still have about a body length now. Can she execute these turns appropriately to keep that lead?
Bulldogs a half a body length. Milligan Buffs hanging with them. Right behind them, the Golden Tigers, and trailing just behind that, Milligan's second team in lane 1. Crucial turn with 50 gone for the third leg.
Turn, yes. But Milligan, again, she's catching her
she's catching.
very slowly. execute this turn to keep that lead going in to this next.
Bulldogs hang on to it. It's still a half a body length. That is tight.
It is going to be tight, and we are now at our final swimmer that is getting ready to enter the water. We are off with our final 100 to go. Who is going to bring it home?
What's important on these hundreds is not to overswim that first 50 or that first 25.
Yes. Bulldogs get to the wall first. Buffs are right there, neck and neck.
They are, and they are chasing down Union right now. They are going to chase the Bulldogs.
Say goodbye to 50 yards. 50 to go. Half a body length between the Bulldogs and the Buffs. Almost down to the final 25 yards. It's still these three programs. The Golden Tigers right behind them.
Watch Brunel in lane 3. They are making a move in lane 3 there. I think they may run out of room, but they are making a late
charge. She got the turn off. She's got a body length. She's going to finish strong. And the win. What an impressive finish in that final leg, getting the full body length and the victory.
Very nicely executed by the Bulldogs in lane 5. Again, they had that little bit of a lead, and they continue to lengthen it. I will have to say, though, I saw a hand across the pool. We may have had an early takeoff. They will have to look at that. I did see a hand, though, so we'll have to just watch that to see what comes of it. And your side judges there are looking at those early takeoffs. And it has to be a dual confirmation, meaning two officials had to see the same exact swimmer take off early on that block. And it looks like we had two hands go up, so they might have something. And again, this is crucial points for these teams. I mean, depending on if this is a true violation or not, this could really affect the outcome of one of these teams, and we will kind of watch it.
And remember, dual confirmation is both of those side judges need to see the same thing, as in same swimmer, same leg of the relay, and it's got to be they both have to have seen it. They both have to agree that it was an early takeoff.
And it looks like that our head of meet ref is going to go over to the side, and he is looking at those jump cards, and those are just cards that they track all the swimmers with. So they have the 4 swimmers on, and they're tracking to see, you know, did they see the touch and then the go from the swimmer on the block, or did they see, you know, an early takeoff?
Long discussion, can't get any indication as far as what they're talking or body language as if it's a confirmation or not.
We'll kind of have to just wait to see if they start the music to bring out the men or not, or if he's going to kind of go back to get something off of the table. We'll have to kind of just wait and see where he goes. But again, a very well executed race. Again, these are why the relays are always so much fun, is because they're just neck and neck, and you just don't really know, you know, what the turnout's going to be until they swim. And I mean, Union did a very good job creating that lead. They built on that lead, and they were able to bring it home. So very well done. And it looks like they're now talking to another side judge that looked and was watching early takeoffs.
We're all clear.
Right. We are good to go. So
no
again,
agreement.
Those final placements are confirmed. Lane 5 coming in first, lane 4 coming in second, lane 3 coming in third.
Love to see it, and we're down to our final event of the 2025 Appalachian Athletic Conference Swimming and Diving Championships in the Kingsport Aquatic Center. 7 relay teams will run in the men's 400-yard freestyle relay. WVU Tech in both lanes 2 and 3, the Milligan Buffs in lane 4, the Union Bulldogs in lane 5, the Koalas of South Carolina in lane 6, and in lane 7, rounding us out, the Milligan Buffs.
And this, again, should be a really close race. Milligan Buffalo's A-team are going to be seated right now first with a 3:01.84. Again, this is going to be neck and neck, and if we actually look at our record for this event, it's a 3:04.40. Right now, Milligan could break this record for our final record broken of the meet today. We will see if they can do that or not.
I think we've broken enough records for one weekend.
I mean, I feel like we have. We will see if they can break the last one, and then we will close and lock the record book up until next year.
No kidding.
And we will probably have to get a new one next year.
Yep. Hide that thing, top shelf where Grandma keeps the cookies.
Yes. And now we are calling the lineup for the swimmers. The men are getting ready behind the blocks, fixing their wedges, getting focused. And we are getting ready to send them into the pool for our last event and a last relay of this weekend. And it is loud in here, and in a second it's going to get pin quiet to send these boys on.
One piece of the puzzle, it looks like Enzo Constable is going to be the anchor leg for the Union A relay.
And that's going to be a huge factor for Union. I mean, to be able to place him in the right space, it's going to be a big deal. And as we are off in our first 25, it looks like lane 4, Milligan has already pulled out just a little bit.
Yep. Great turn, great lead for the Buffs. Lane 2 is right there. That's WVU Tech. 5 is hanging in as well, the Bulldogs.
Yes, Union is hanging in there on his toes. He is not going to let him get far, and I mean, he's even approaching even farther on this last 50 that he has to go. And we
What a turn.
Our next swimmers up on the blocks ready to go.
Leg 1 is almost done. This one neck and neck as we get the exchange to the second leg. What a hot start.
Hot start.
Nicely executed, and it looks like Union and Milligan will again battle it out. They are neck and neck in this.
And hanging with a Milligan second team in lane 7.
Yes, Milligan's B team bringing it in.
Good turn in lane 4 right there by the Milligan Buffs, who have got about a body length.
Yep,
yes,
body
and
length.
I mean, Milligan B is going to now put up the fight for Union, and can Union hold it off?
Another good turn.
And we have our boys, and they're getting ready to take off for the third leg of this relay.
It's underway.
Wow, Union in first and second place right now. We'll see if that pans out.
225 yards are gone, more than halfway through as we get the turn. And he's building a nice lead. He just keeps extending it inch by inch.
Yes, and Union have to track down Milligan's B team at this point to try to beat them out.
Buffs.
But that second place win.
He's got steam.
He does.
75 gone as he gets the turn.
What's important here for Union, this third swimmer has got to close that gap as much as he can to give their anchor swimmer a chance here. That's that Enzo Constable.
Constable has been amazing all weekend long. He's a record setter. Can he close? Can he be the anchor they need? Buffs pulling out ahead of full body length through the first 25.
And can Constable do it? He may be able to if he can keep that pace up. Can he?
Let's see where he is at the 50.
On the turn. And it's getting loud in Kingsport. Constable hanging around. Buffs get a really good turn, but the Bulldogs still catching up. Gaining inches at a time. Almost 75 gone, the final turn coming. Constable's right there. Here's the turn. Coming out, the Buffs strong. Constable's got a half a body length to cover. Can he do it?
Finish.
Buffs digging deep, down to the very wire. Milligan hanging on for the win. Unbelievable.
Nice race, nice swim, gentlemen.
Wow, nice work from Milligan.
That is a new meet record. Both relay teams under the previous mark.
Nicely done. Again, Milligan coming in first in lane 4 with a 3:02.50, breaking the record for the 400 freestyle relay for the men. And following very close behind them is lane 5, Union coming in second with a 3:03.14.
Need a glass of water.
Yes.
That old
Absolutely.
record that Milligan just broke was a 3:04.40, so they lowered that by almost 2 seconds. And again, Union was also under that previous conference record mark.
And we just got the thumbs up from our officials at the far end saying that they did not have any early jumps. So it looks like that what is on that board is going to stay on the board. Very well done by the bus. I mean, they held off on that last
Held off
relay.
a nice charge.
And I don't want to downplay the anchor of the Union Bulldogs, Enzo Constable.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, what a performance.
Yes.
I think his overall 100 split on that anchor leg was like a 43, maybe a 43 high, which is what he go 44 in the 100.
About that,
so you can see with the adrenaline, the relay takeoff, the adrenaline, want to do it for your team. These swimmers can achieve just about anything they want.
Very well done. I mean, that his swim there, being able to catch up and just be right on the heels of Milligan. I mean, honestly, even though they did not get that first place win, they still owe themselves a great pat on the back because that was well executed.
Unbelievable show to close us out in the 400-yard relays. I'm sure there's so much we could talk about, but some closing thoughts on what a great weekend we had.
Yeah, very good weekend. I mean, we started off, again, a lot of records being broken on the first night. We had 5 broken on the first night. Came into the second night, I had another 5 broken, and now we are back breaking records on the final night. Another 5, making about 15 total records in this short weekend broken. I mean, absolutely amazing. And the freshmen that showed up this weekend really just, they put their name in the record books and said, hey, I am here to battle and swim.
And I don't think that count includes, you mentioned the diving. I don't think that count includes the diving records.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
so
so there'd
we
be another 2 on there.
Yep, we did have diving come back, and I mean, the 2 Union girls, Sammy and Sarah, showed up, and they did some fantastic dives this weekend. They also swam. I mean, they were dual athletes, and you know, I saw Sammy swimming this morning in that 200 backstroke, and Sarah swam the last couple of days as well. I mean, very nicely done with our divers, and I'm just glad to have diving back. It's a great sport to have, and what a weekend. Definitely going to need a couple naps after this weekend.
Yep.
No kidding. Well, I want to thank you two so much for joining me, being with the Southeast Sports Network and our coverage for the AAC Digital Network this weekend.
Yes.
Unreal stuff.
Thanks
really
for
good
having
stuff.
us.
Thanks for having us.
That'll do it for our show. I send you now to your public address announcer and the awards ceremony. Today's broadcast coverage and this weekend's broadcast coverage is copyright material and media of the Southeast Sports Network and a presentation of Shrine Media. It will be archived and available for replay inside of the Apple platform where you viewed it. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the awards ceremony.
The results for your 2025 AAC champions for the women's 400-yard freestyle relay. In third place, Bernal. first place, a team consisting of Lise Poussaint, Monka Petrick, Emma Phillips, and Dory Joza, with the final time of 3:34.24. The results for your 2025 AAC champions for the men's 400-yard freestyle relay. In third place, West Virginia Tech. In second place, Union. And in first place, a team consisting of Josh McConey, Paxton Smith, Caleb Fry, and Stephen Gilbert, with a meet record of 3:02.50 Milligan. the meet, from Milligan, Riley Renaud. Your men's first year of the meet, from Union, Enzo Constable. And your men's swimmer of the meet, from Union, Enzo Constable. And the results for your 2025 AAC Championships. For the women, in 6th place with 20 points, University of Pikeville. In 5th place with 172 points, West Virginia Tech. In 4th place with 273 points, Columbia. In 3rd place with 621 points, Union. In 2nd place with 668 points, Brown. In your 2025 and your 2025 AAC Women's Swimming Champions with a total of 928 points, Milligan. 427 points, West Virginia Tech. In second place with 692 points, Union. And your 2025 AAC Men's Championship Swimming is with a total of 1,010 points, Milligan.
The Southeast Sports Network is now on Amazon Fire TV. Now you can download the SESN app and watch on any Amazon-enabled device, such as your Fire Stick. The easiest way to download the app is to go to our website, find the Watch SESN tab, and click Fire TV app. Then just select your device from the list. That's it. Free and easy. Enjoy watching the Southeast Sports Network on your Fire TV, Fire Stick, or Fire tablet with just a few clicks.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
A truck is a tool, but a ram is life. Yeah, it's the wipe the sweat off your brow sort of life. But it's also the let's load up the ATV's life. The my kids play way too many sports life. the Let's Find a Secret Spot to Fish life. That looks nice. Innovations, comforts, and powertrains built to power all the lives you live. Ram.
At the Salvation Army, a shelter isn't just a place to rest. It's a chance to shed layers, let loose, and finally let it go. With your gift, a warm bed is just the beginning. It's the first night of a new day. When our homeless neighbors feel safe enough to close their eyes, they can see the way forward.
The rhythmic sound of more than 500 cascading waterfalls. The endless echo of more than 10,000 caves. The serene silence of 1,000 miles of wilderness trails. The next time someone tells you to get lost, consider it an opportunity. Your vacation is now playing in Tennessee.